Ryder Cup. Unique, euphoric, unanimously loved. Here's the history and some of the key numbers behind the contest that grips the world of golf and beyond like no other. The first edition was held in 1927, where a Great Britain team arrived by boat to play in Massachusetts at the Worcester Country Club. Originally, the competition comprised of 4 foursomes and 8 singles, with 4 balls not introduced until 1963. In the first 22 editions, when it was just Brits and Irish against the US, America only lost 3. So, in 1979, in came the rest of Europe, including the future 5-time Ryder Cup winner, Seve Ballesteros. Since Team Europe was established, the head-to-head reads Europe 13, USA 9. Home advantage is a big deal. Europe's last away win was the miracle at Medina in 2012, and America hasn't won on European soil since '93 at the Belfry. It's accepted that both teams tailor their home courses to suit their own players. For example, in Paris in 2018, Thomas Bjorn asked for the rough to be kept extra long beyond the green to target the big booming American drives. 10 years earlier, Paul Azinger did the opposite, and the Valhalla rough was trimmed right down. On both occasions, the home side were resounding winners. So what about the money? The most recent Ryder Cup in Rome drew in a record 271,000 spectators and boosted the Italian economy by €262 million. In the US, the PGA America TV deal with NBC is worth $440 million. But no Ryder Cup revenue has ever gone directly to individual players. That's until now. In 2025, for the first time ever, the US team will each receive a fee for playing in New York. Of course, in Rome, legend has it Patrick Cantley refused to wear his cap because he wasn't being paid to wear it, though he insisted it simply didn't fit. Either way, Team Europe have made it clear they're more than happy to keep playing for the sheer thrill, joy and prestige of the Ryder Cup.
A very, very good afternoon. This is the Saturday session. We are live on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard and the former Sunderland and England defender Micky Gray with you until 5 o'clock. Of course, a slightly different Saturday afternoon with it being an international break, but still plenty of football being played up and down the country. We've got 7 games in League One. We've got 11 in League Two. We'll keep you across all of the action and the games that start at 3 o'clock this afternoon. We're also at Stamford Bridge for a legends clash between Chelsea and Liverpool. Eden Hazard, Diego Costa, Petr Cech, Joe Cole all back at Stamford Bridge. Ian Abrahams will keep us across the action. England looking to make it 3 wins from 3 in the Cricket World Cup. All the latest from their clash with Sri Lanka. Also bringing you all the build-up to what follows us at 5 o'clock. The Super League Grand Final between Hull KR and Wigan. Can Wigan win it for a 3rd year in a row? And a big night of boxing as well, as Dave Allen takes on the biggest challenge of his career so far. Both the rugby and boxing live on talkSPORT from 5 o'clock. Plus discussing and debating all the big football stories going on right now. Of course, Micky being talkSPORT's Manchester correspondent. He's going to give us the lowdown on all things Manchester United. It is the Saturday session and we are live on talkSPORT. Good afternoon, Micky Gray. How are you?
Afternoon to you. I'm all right.
It's a Saturday afternoon, so Micky Gray being live on talkSPORT is nothing new. But Micky Gray being in London and being in the News UK building is something a little bit different.
It takes me back. This studio's changed since I used to work here with Jim on a Tuesday morning. I think it was sat at the far end in this studio. But I like it. I like the changes. And yeah, it is a bit strange actually being back in the studio because match days are match days for me. I love being at stadiums, whether it be at Old Trafford, the Etihad, or whether they send me to Edgeley Park at Stockport or anywhere. As long as I'm watching football, that's when I'm at my happiest. But I'm happy to be here with you, Sam.
Well, good. I'm glad. Good. I mean, if you told me you weren't, it'd be an awkward way to start. What's going to be a 4-hour show. So yeah, again, it's a slightly different Saturday, Mickey. But we got some League One football, we got some League Two football to look forward to as well. Some boxing, some rugby to look ahead to as well. The World Grand Prix darts are in the semi-final stages there. But of course, we will pick your brains on everything happening in the world of football, England and Manchester United in particular. And despite it being an international break. It's never a dull. You can't really have a dull day with regards to Manchester United, let alone a dull couple of weeks, right?
No, it's always the hot topic, and I get that feeling because I cover a lot of Ruben Amorim's press conferences on Fridays, which I did with Thomas before him as well, with Eric Ten Hag. And it's so interesting when you go in there. You try to go in to try and find something. Everybody's looking for that little title in the newspaper, if you want, or just a little snippet of something that he said. So you get an insight of how the club gets run and the way he works with football. And I must say, of all the managers that I do, and I go into Pep Guardiola's press conferences a lot, but Ruben Amorim is certainly the most open manager that I've sat in a press conference. And maybe
sometimes too open?
Yeah, I think so at times. Yeah, maybe he doesn't help himself at times. I think, there's a time and place where you can say what you want. I think when you can say what you want is when you're winning every week. Mm-hmm. And we know that Man United are not. And I think that's been his problem.
I think for Ruben Amorim, if you didn't know who he was managing and where his side were on the table, I think the way he speaks with real confidence, he looks the part. He sounds like he's managing a team that are 6-8 games, unbeaten, going for the title. He does speak, doesn't he, with real authority. And when you go to Pep Guardiola's press conferences, I mean, he's pretty short and sweet, isn't he, with people? I feel like I'd be scared to get pepped.
Like most managers at the end of games, because you have to interview at the end of the games as well. But Pep's very difficult to get something out of. It's obviously understandable, but I think when you've got that power and you're in the power seat like Pep has since he walked through the door at Man City, because he's winning trophies and winning every single week, he can get away with it. Whereas you walk in a press conference at Manchester United, we're expecting them to be a little bit coy and not say too much. But Ruben, I said, you're right. He's got that smile on his face. He looks like he's enjoying himself. And I'm sure behind the scenes he's not. But the main topic's the football, isn't it? Which it has been, I think, since he walked through the door. I think everybody maybe looked at him when he came through the door and said, right, he's got a free ride till the end of the system. He's going to stick with this system and he's going to try and make it work. And we were all waiting for the first day of the season and expecting that to be the Manchester United we're going to see moving forward. This, 3 at the back, if you want to call it that, or defensively 5. And I don't think anybody's seen the change in it yet. And we keep asking the question every single week. And no, I'm not going to change what I'm doing. It will come good eventually. But he hasn't won back-to-back games yet. No.
And next, he can win back-to-back games, can't he? Next time Manchester United play after beating Sunderland by 2-0. But a week Sunday, it's Liverpool away. So possibly, maybe unlikely to do that. We'll do a deep dive with you, Mickey, on all things Manchester United at around 1:30. Chelsea are playing Liverpool today. They played each other last weekend, didn't they, in a Premier League game. This afternoon, it's a charity match at Stamford Bridge, a Legends game. And by the way, there are some true legends at Stamford. I mean, the Chelsea team. I reckon this Chelsea team today could give the current Chelsea team a run for their money. I mean, just to name some. Petr Cech, John Terry, Eden Hazard, Gianfranco Zola, Diego Costa playing for Chelsea. I mean, for Liverpool, the likes of Robbie Keane, Pepe Reina playing. So, I mean, in particular, the Chelsea team, I mean, they call it a Legends game. They're well and truly delivering on their promise. That's some absolute Chelsea goats playing at Stamford Bridge this afternoon.
Well, I've got to say, from experience of playing against those players 20 years ago, they could play now. Yeah. I mean, when you finish playing, you get invited to play on different charity events and stuff like that, golf events and football events. And I played against Zola a couple of times. My goodness. I mean, he still looks after himself. Oh, he's incredible. What a fantastic guy as well. But even some of the other players that you just mentioned there as well, absolutely top.
When you play in these charity games, obviously it's all for a good cause to raise money. But do you notice with the ex-footballers, the majority of them still want to win? They've still got that hunger to win, even though it's not a professional game anymore.
Absolutely. When you walk in that dressing room, it's all laugh and joking and everything 2 or 3 days before. And look, you're able to socialise and enjoy yourself before these games. So I'm not saying we're going there, we're drinking Lucas 8 Sport before we actually go onto the football field. But Yeah, absolutely. When you put that shirt on and you take to the field, whoever you're playing against, I remember this must be 7 or 8 years ago before, what was it, the lockdown and stuff. I played in Harry Heroes. Harry Redknapp took us away. We played Germany. I think we actually won the game 2-1. And thankfully I scored in the game. But I can't tell you how serious it was in the dressing room. I went away for a laugh and went to see X.
But do you like that though? Do you like the fact that it is taken 100%. Seriously?
Because it's in your DNA. You never get away from it. So when you walk into that dressing room, you're thinking, right, you're looking around, you're going, right, wow, he used to be a good player. Or Teddy Sheringham is playing for us. You think, right, okay, when I get the ball, I'll pass to Teddy every single time I get it. I know it's safe there. But my goodness, super serious and super professional.
Yeah, so Ian Abrahams is going to be there throughout the course of the afternoon as well, and looking forward to chatting to Moose and getting some regular updates there. We have got one bit of live sport going on right now. It's the Women's Cricket World Cup. England are 2 wins from 2. It's been a good start for England to the World Cup. They beat Bangladesh last time out on Tuesday by 4 wickets. They kicked off the tournament with a win against Africa by 10 wickets. Today, they're taking on Sri Lanka. England just lost another wicket. talkSPORT's Guy Swindles. England making a little bit of a mess of setting this target, Guy?
I think that's absolutely right, Sam. They were going very nicely. They were 168 for 4. They're now 169 for 6. It was a double wicket maiden from Anoka Ranawira. First having a Lamb, bowled round her legs for 13. Charlie Lamb, she played very nicely up until then. And then Alice Capsey got one to rip past the outside edge. Her back foot had come forward and she was stumped very competently by Sanjawani, and she had gone for a duck. So a lot on Nat Skibber-Brunt's shoulders. 64 not out from 76, the England captain. She's been joined by Charlie Dean, but England need to bounce back from that double wicket blow. 169 for 6 in the 36th.
Thank you, Guy. Regular updates with Guy Swindles throughout the course of the afternoon as England look to make it 3 wins from 3 at the Cricket World Cup. In terms of other live sport we've got for you today on the talkSPORT network in League One, live commentary on talkSPORT 2 of Stockport versus Blackpool here on talkSPORT at 3 o'clock. We will take you around the ground. You've got reporters watching some of the day's other football matches. Following us here at 5 o'clock on talkSPORT, the Super League Grand Final. It's a 6 o'clock start. Hull KR versus Wigan. Wigan looking to make it 3 back-to-back Super League triumphs, and then following the rugby, Dave Allen in action, big boxing fight this evening. That's on at 8 o'clock. And if rugby union's your thing, Bath versus Gloucester at 5:30. Live commentary on talkSPORT 2 of that one, following Stockport versus Blackpool. So it is the Saturday session. Sam Ellard, Micky Gray with you until 5 o'clock this evening. Coming up next, we're going to turn our attention and talk all things England.
Well, there are no points at stake, but there are points to prove.
Very pleased with the first half. We could have been 4-5-0 up.
Perfect start for England. They're ahead inside 2.5 minutes. Morgan Rogers, who kept his nerve to siphon into the bottom left-hand corner.
It's what you dream of as a kid. It's things that drive you to work hard and to get into this position. So yeah, it's a lovely feeling.
It's played across the face of goal for Watkins, who cannot miss.
We've seen what this environment was. Now, we're not quite there, of course. But to me, if I'm being honest, this gives me hunger.
Saka turning it onto his left foot. Oh, it's a beautiful goal.
And that is one of the best goals I have ever seen in this stadium. An incredible finish.
No, it felt good when it left my foot, and obviously when I looked up and I saw where it was, great feeling.
So we imposed ourselves physically and then also with our quality, of course, so that's why I'm very happy.
The feeling remains that England are certainly moving in the right direction. They've beaten Wales tonight by 3-0.
A very good afternoon. It is the Saturday session live on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard, Micky Gray with you until 5 o'clock this evening. Let's now talk all things England. Thomas Tuchel has only been England boss for 10 months, but he's again made headlines and ruffled some feathers with his answers in an interview after Thursday's 3-0 friendly win over Wales, watched by just short of 80,000 fans at Wembley. Tuchel was critical of the atmosphere to the TV broadcasters. He says, I love English football and I love the English football fans and the support they give, but I think the atmosphere did not match the performance on the field. We had excellent support in Serbia, but here we were 3 up after 20 minutes. We had the ball, winning the ball after winning the ball, and I felt like, why is the roof still on this stadium? That's just it. It's nothing big. We will do everything again to be infectious. There's no problem. So critical of the atmosphere to TV, and he was asked to clarify his comments in the post-match press conference.
Good moment to explain myself. Well, first of all, I said the support in Serbia was absolutely fantastic. When we played last time in Serbia, I said it and I meant it. I love English football and I love English football fans and the support they give. But I think today the atmosphere did not match the performance on the field.
Micky, my two questions are, firstly, is he right in his comments? And then second question would be, if you think he is he right to voice his thoughts on this, on the atmosphere?
Well, I think initially, everybody was kind of taken back when he kind of criticised the supporters. But when you go 2-0 up in the first 20 minutes, 2-3-0 up in the first 20 minutes, I always find it difficult when you come out in the second half to try and keep that momentum. 6 changes, I think it was, that he made in the second half. There's this sort of argument, isn't it, about should we actually play friendly games at Wembley? I think when they moved it around, and I was a part of that when I actually was involved with the England squad, we went to the Stadium of Light in one of the squads that I was involved in, which was obviously brilliant for me. And I think just giving other supporters the opportunity from around the country to go and watch England play, I think worked. And let's not forget, and look, England's always going to be home. But I think when you go to big tournaments, you're not playing in the same stadium every single time. Mm-hmm. You move around. And I think it would help the players. I think it would help England itself because, as mentioned there before, I think it gives other supporters the chance who can't travel down to London to watch England play. And I think you would get then that 90-minute performance from the supporters as well. But it is very hard, I have to say, when a game feels like it's done and dusted after 20 minutes, to keep that momentum and that crowd going throughout the whole of the game and obviously the flow of the game as well. As I mentioned there before, I think when you make 6 changes, as he did, yeah, one of your players from your domestic club might be coming onto the pitch, but it's not everybody in that stadium. I was a little bit disappointed, I have to say. I think it was a little bit flat. But how can you criticise? I think if you're winning football matches, Thomas Tuchel is allowed to maybe point his view to say we need that atmosphere until the final whistle. Might get that in the next home game in a qualifier, but I think he probably chose the right moment to maybe have a little word with everybody. But I still don't think it was the right thing to do.
Micky, on the pitch, it was a 3-0 victory for England on Thursday evening. Of course, on Friday there have been lots of match reports in the papers, and today on Saturday, sort of 2 days on. a bit more kind of, some analysis pieces. I thought from Jason Burt in the Telegraph, this was interesting. Even Bellingham cannot take the number 10 role from Rodgers. He says today in the Telegraph, who needs Jude Bellingham, Cole Palmer or Phil Foden? Morgan Rodgers again excelled for England in the coveted number 10 role against Wales on Thursday. And if Thomas Tuchel was as good as his word, and we have no reason to doubt him, then he is now the man in possession of the shirt. And that is what matters. And I think as we try and guess Thomas Tuchel's starting 11 for that first World Cup game in a midfield three. It looks like at the moment that Elliot Anderson has kind of got the base of that midfield three is the number 6. I think Declan Rice obviously is nailed on to be one of the other midfield players. It then does feel like that third midfield role is very much up for grabs, whether it is Bellingham, whether it is Palmer, whether it is Foden. But Jason Burt says this morning that Morgan Rodgers is playing there and playing well. Can you see a situation where in a year's time, the Morgan Rodgers is that third man in midfield for England?
Well, again, right, if I go back generations after generations here, I think, the big name players, however their form is domestically, they always seem to start. I think that was a big problem from our side of things. But I think now we're moving into a period where we've got so many talented players. I mean, those players that you just mentioned there all want to be the number 10, I suppose, don't they? I mean, Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Jude Bellingham.
And especially because, again, you say that Saka starting on the right is probably another one that's locked in for that World Cup. So Foden and Palmer can't come from the right. Yeah. If they're going to play, it's going to be in that third-man midfield as a 10.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the starting 11, it kind of, certain positions pick themselves. You just mentioned a few there. I think the back four, there might be a couple of changes, but they didn't let anybody down on Thursday night. But if you're playing well for your country and you get your opportunity, then I don't see why you shouldn't play in the next game.
And the first thing you said in the answer, Mick, was the big names in years gone by for England. The big name players would always start. Irrelevant or previous form for England, club form. This at the moment feels a little bit different with Thomas Tuchel, and the most obvious reason is that Jude Bellingham has been left out. Does it feel like Thomas Tuchel isn't going to be a manager that's going to think, hang on a minute, Jude Bellingham, superstar, plays for Real Madrid, he's got to start? If Morgan Rodgers is performing well for England, and hopefully his club form for Villa picks up, he won't care about egos. He won't care about, who plays for what club. He'll just pick players based on current recent form.
Well, I mean, if you go up until recent form, in Euros and World Cups, we've probably been more successful over the last decade than we have prior to that. And you go with the big name players who, I think it was the Shearer era, semi-finals of the Euros. Apart from that, you're scratching your head. How well have we done in certain competitions? And that was by playing the big name players. And I mentioned Alan there. Look, I'm not criticising anybody here, but what I'm saying is...
It's the Sunderland-Newcastle rivalry coming up.
No, absolutely not. No,
any opportunity to have a go at someone related to Newcastle, you just take it, don't you?
But my point being is, you don't have to be playing for one of the top 4 or the top 6 to prove yourself at national level, international level. I mean, Elliot Anderson is one just, shoots off the page, doesn't he? And I think when you look at those type of players, given the opportunity, they probably think to themselves, I have got to perform here. Because if I don't perform, then I'm not going to get another opportunity. And I think it's refreshing from Thomas Tuchel. And if those players come into the starting 11 to play for England and they perform, then I don't see the reason why they shouldn't play in the next game.
And also, on Morgan Rodgers, this isn't just like a plucky underdog guy who's had a good couple of games. Like, okay, he started this season off not great.
Yeah.
But if you look at his form since joining Aston Villa in the last 18 months, playing in the Premier League, playing in a team that got to a Champions League quarter-final, I think he's a magnificent player. I think he's so direct. He's got quick feet. I also think he's strong. He's got good upper body strength. He can go in and out of players. And his performances, his consistency for a team that, again, have been qualifying for the Champions League, I think he's a top player. And I love the fact that he's been given opportunities. Because I think based on form in the last 18 months, you could argue he's playing as well as your Foden, Palmers and Bellingham. So, I think he's got a cracking chance, not just of going, Mickey, but of being in that starting 11 and deservedly so.
Well, the thing with Morgan Rodgers is, I think you're right at the beginning of the season. I think he did struggle a little bit. I suppose his head was turned, maybe thinking he was going to get a move away from Aston Villa, but now he's stayed there. He's had to knuckle down and he's been given this opportunity. And you're right. I think he's got great energy. When you look at Jude Bellingham, is he any different to him? I'm not putting them on the same level at all as players. I mean, Jude's gone on to incredible things at Real Madrid, right? But what has Morgan Rodgers not got that Jude Bellingham's got? That's what I say, because when he puts that England shirt on, he performs. And if Cole Palmer's not performing when he puts on an England shirt, or Phil Foden is not performing when he puts on an England shirt, then you give these players an opportunity and they won't let you down. And that's how hungry you have to be to play for your country.
How much did it mean to you, Micky, playing for your country? Do you remember it really, really well, sort of getting that first call-up, making your debut?
Yeah, at first I thought it was a hoax.
By the way, can I just say as well, every player that makes their debut for England or gets that first call-up, the first thing they always say in every interview is, I thought it was a joke when I got a call from... Is that like a thing that every player has to say when they get that first call-up?
Well, I can't speak for everybody else. I was at home at the time, and I'd got a brief phone call from Kevin Keegan, and you just think it's one of your friends who are having a joke. Yeah, exactly, yeah. But then, you sharp realise after 10 or 15 seconds of being on the phone that it is Kevin Keegan. And then quickly after that, I went to the training ground and there was loads of press around. There was people with England shirts and flags and stuff. It was more the press because they wanted us to have photographs with it. But then when you meet up, I was in the era where I suppose everybody stayed in their rooms. I was part of that, to be honest with you. But it wasn't everybody. There was good individuals there. Jamie Redknapp was absolutely fantastic. There was others in the squad as well. But yeah, making your debut was something you never forget.
Yeah, all family there and everything?
No, I was in Hungary.
Didn't fancy the trip? They could come over, couldn't they?
No, they didn't. They didn't travel to Hungary, and then eventually I played against Bulgaria, and we played against Sweden, which was at Wembley, and I think they obviously got the opportunity to watch that one. So yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. Pretty special stuff. Good man. This is the Saturday session. Sam Ellard, Micky Gray with you until 5 o'clock this evening. In the cricket, the Women's World Cup, England batting first against Sri Lanka, looking to make it 3 wins from 3, 184 for 6. And that's Siva Brunt, the captain of the crease, just trying to hold the innings together, unbeaten on 70. Back to Guy Swindle shortly. There is some live football for you this afternoon in League One. Stockport v Blackpool. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Live commentary on talkSPORT 2. We'll keep you across all the other scores here on talkSPORT. And following us at 6 o'clock, the Super League Grand Final, Hull KR versus Wigan, and then immediately following that, Dave Allen in action. We've got live commentary of his fight. So a busy day on talkSPORT across all different sports. Saturday session back in a couple of minutes' time. And when we do, Micky Gray, of course, the former Sunderland defender, former England defender, but now talkSPORT's Manchester correspondent. And lots has been happening over the past couple of days within regards to Manchester United. We'll get the lowdown from Micky in a couple of minutes' time on the Saturday session. We're on talkSPORT. A very good afternoon. It is the Saturday session. It's Sam Ellard, Micky Gray with you until 5 o'clock this evening on talkSPORT. We're talking Manchester United very shortly with talkSPORT's Manchester correspondent Micky Gray alongside me in the studio. But back to the Cricket World Cup. England taking on Sri Lanka. England looking to make it 3 wins from 3. They're batting first after Sri Lanka won the toss and decided to field. talkSPORT's Guy Swindles has got the latest.
188 now for 6, England in the 42nd, and they're having real problems pressing the accelerator button. Their 2 wickets fell in a single over from Anoka Ranawira, who finished with the brilliant figures of 3 for 33 from 10 overs. And that has been England's problem. After a fast start, they've lost wickets regularly, but at the moment, everything resting on the shoulders of the skipper, Nat Skibber-Brunt. She is 73 not out. Charlie Dean's giving a reasonable support, but it's just trying to get the run rate up a little bit at this stage and try to get as near to the 250 mark as possible. Seems a long way away at the moment. 189 for 6 after 42 overs.
Thanks, Guy. Yeah, win for England would take them above Australia to top of the table, and 3 wins from 3 wouldn't guarantee them a place in the semi-finals, but with just 4 games to go, they would be pretty much there. Let's now talk all things Manchester United with talkSPORT's Manchester correspondent Micky Gray. No football, but still Man United is always making the news. Sir Jim Ratcliffe sat down with the Times Business podcast this week to discuss, many things, but in particular, the manager. Ruben Amorim needs 3 years to prove he is a great coach, according to Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Amorim will complete a year at the Old Trafford helm in November, but his record since arriving, not the best. United finishing 15th in the Premier League last season. That's their worst performance since the 73-74 campaign, in which they were relegated from the top flight. And despite a summer transfer outlay in excess of £200 million, already lost 3 times in the league this season, knocked out of the Carabao Cup. Here's to Jim speaking with the Times Business podcast all about the manager, Ruben Amorim.
We have to be patient, and we have a long-term plan. It isn't a light switch, and you can't run a club like Manchester United on knee-jerk reactions to some journalist who goes off on one, every week. Sorry.
So Amorim gets at least the rest of the season then?
Amorim, he's a good guy.
That's not the same thing. He's a good guy. It's not the rest of the season.
I would say Ruben, he needs to demonstrate that he's a great coach over 3 years.
So you give him 3 years?
Yeah, that's where I would be. Yeah, 3 years, because football's not overnight.
No, and as you say, the Alex Ferguson example is exactly that, isn't it?
And you look at Arteta at Arsenal. He had a miserable time for the first couple of years.
Yeah.
Micky, you're a man of many, many talents, aren't you? You played at the top flight, you played for your country, you can run a 10K in half an hour, you're playing off a handicap of 7 in the world of golf. But among all of that, you're also talkSPORT's man in Manchester. You cover lots of Manchester United. You're in the majority of Ruben Amorim's press conferences. You've got your ear to the ground. When you hear Sir Jim Ratcliffe saying stuff like 3 years, he's going to be a great manager. He makes comparisons to Mikel Arteta. What do you make of it all?
Well, it won't matter if he says 3 years or 3 weeks. In football, that's how quickly things can change. We might have been having a completely different conversation if Manchester United didn't get a result against Sunderland. And then we're going into an international break where we've seen over many, many years where managers lose their job in that period so they can bring in a fresh face. But look, that didn't happen. He got the result against Sunderland that he needed. And they're now going into a huge clash against Liverpool after we come out of this international break. And he will probably still feel a little bit under pressure because they'll go into that game as underdogs and probably big underdogs because Liverpool are a fantastic team. I know it's your team, but they've slipped up over the last 2 or 3 games, haven't they? But when you look on paper, Liverpool are the strongest team and rightly so. That's why one of the favourites to go and win the Premier League title. But he's not won back-to-back games, Ruben Amorim, and he's coming up to 12 months tenure at Manchester United. Now, at any other football club, I would probably guarantee you they wouldn't be still sat in the same technical area. And that's been the big concern. And everybody's been kind of waiting for this change of, right, we know what the system is at Manchester United. We know what Ruben Amorim wants to do. He's now been able to bring in the players that he wanted to bring into the club, albeit I still think there's a few fresh faces needed, but I don't think that's going to happen till the summer. And I am talking about holding midfield players here. So I don't think he's got a finished squad of players, Ruben Amorim. He's had to do a lot of work behind the scenes to try and get players out and bring players in. And they spent a heck of a lot of money, as you just mentioned there. But I think everybody was expecting results. And when those results are not there, and we're talking about Manchester United, which is a club on its own, in my eyes, in the Premier League, you can maybe put on par, I suppose, Liverpool and Arsenal. But Manchester United is the hot topic. So when you go into the press conferences, as I do on every single week, to be honest with you, with Ruben Amorim, for him to still walk in that room with a smile on his face and stick to his guns and say, right, this is what I'm going to stick with. This is my system. But what he then can't tell us is what he's trying to do with this system. Now, look, we haven't seen it. I know what he's trying to do. And I think a lot...
What's he trying to do, Mickey? I've got absolutely no idea what he's trying to do. I couldn't tell you in the 10 months or 11 months of watching Manchester United and Ruben Amorim, and they're on TV pretty much every week, so I feel like I've watched them a lot. I couldn't tell you what Man United... I couldn't tell you what this system is supposed to do.
Yeah, well, look, there's a lot of people like that. I mean, everybody's scratching their heads and thinking, right, is this system going to work? I don't actually think it's a system, it's a problem. I think it's the players. I don't think certain players are good enough to play for Manchester
But then
United.
surely as the manager of Manchester United, when your job is to be the head coach and to coach these players in the week and set them up in the best possible way on a Saturday, surely then if you believe that the players aren't good enough to suit the system, surely then that's Ruben Amorim's job to change the system to get the best out of the players rather than just doing the same thing every single week with really, really bad results.
No, I agree with you. I think, he slipped up when he first walked through the door and said, this is the way I'm going to play. So you're going to have to get used to it. So basically, I'm not talking about the whole team here, right? But I'm talking about the back line. And we saw it once. I've seen it once when they played against Chelsea, when Chelsea had 11 men. You see, Matthias de Ligt was trying to come out from defence and then play as the holding midfield player. And I think he had his best game in a Manchester United shirt that day. So what he's then trying to do is then he's saying to everybody, right, now we're playing as a 4. And de Ligt is our next holding midfield player. But that's the only game I've seen it. Now, whether he doesn't rely or trusts his players to go out and perform the way he wants them to perform, because when you see Manchester United, Brentford, for instance, when they played them away a couple of weeks ago, it was a flat back 5. And they were all over the place. The centre-halves didn't know where to mark a striker. The midfield players were running and doing what they wanted to do. And also what doesn't help is playing players in different positions. I mean, the big topic's Bruno Fernandes. Yes, he can do it, but he can do it at a certain standard. But Bruno Fernandes is an attacking midfield player who will get you 15 to 20 goals a season and 15 to 20 assists a season if he's playing in a good Manchester United team. Now, he's probably going to go down as a legend at Manchester United when he eventually leaves the club, but then what's he achieved? A couple of domestic trophies, player of the season for 4 years in a row, 5 years in a row, and he's better than that. And that's the big concern. I mean, the goalkeeping situation was just completely bizarre in the summer as well. You're looking at Donnarumma and then you're bringing in a goalkeeper that basically nobody's heard of in Sonny Lamans.
And right towards the end of the window as well.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
It clearly should have been addressed
I know
much earlier.
He played against Sunderland and he actually had a decent game in that game. What we see from him moving forward is another matter. But I think, we want to see progression from Manchester United, and I think we haven't seen enough of it. So let's call it backing from Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Now, that backing is saying that Ruben Amorim is going to stay there for 3 years. I can guarantee you, if he loses the next 4 or 5 games, he probably won't be there.
And in 4 or 5 games' time, it's the next international break, and there's reports that the fee that they have to pay Ruben Amorim if they were to let him go would be heavily reduced after a year. Just 2 things. I mean, the system thing, I don't want to sound like a broken record. I know lots of other people share this opinion. I think it's negligence, a manager picking this same system game in, game out. And I'm not a tactical genius, Mickey, and I wouldn't pretend to be, but I don't think you have to be to watch Man United play. And in particular, that 2-man midfield seems to be outrun and outnumbered every single week. And one of those players you rightly mentioned is a player that wants to play further forward. And I just cannot believe that at no point in the last year has he ever tried to change, adapt, adjust to make Man United harder to play through and to be able to control games better. And look, it clearly seems obvious he doesn't fancy Kobbie Mainoo, but surely Manchester United will be a more compact team if Kobbie Mainoo comes into that midfield and it's a midfield 3. Another thing there, right towards the end, so Jim mentioned Mikel Arteta and compared him to Mikel Arteta. I say the big difference between what I've seen in Arteta's first year at Arsenal and Amram's first year at Arsenal is while the results on paper weren't great for Arteta, like if you put the numbers there, they would have been messy. But I think with Arteta, you could see him trying to implement a style of football quite early on. You know, the high pressing style of football, and then you saw it pay off in some games when they won the FA Cup. I think the FA Cup semi-final in particular, they played really, really well. So whilst the results weren't amazing, you could see what he was trying to do, and you almost thought, give him time to bring in his own players, new players, to gel to a system. Whereas with Ruben Amorim, a year in, I don't know what the system's supposed to be good at. Yeah. I don't see enough players improving, and therefore I just don't think things are going to get better for Ruben Amorim in Manchester United.
Well, the Arteta thing, I was a little bit taken back by that as well. I think if you're going to judge somebody, you judge yourself. You can't do a comparison with another coach at another football club with different players. I think you've got to work with what you've got in front of you. And I see managers or coaches, if you want to call them that, who come to the Premier League who improve players. And I look through the Manchester United squad, and I did exactly the same thing when Erik ten Hag was there, and I asked the same question is, right, what players have you improved? Because Bruno Fernandes was an outstanding player before he came to Manchester United. He's took to the Premier League and he's been absolutely brilliant as an individual. But I look at the rest of the individual players that are playing at Manchester United, and you could probably count on one hand over the last decade who came in at Manchester United who have improved. And that is the damning effect on what's happened over the last decade at Manchester United.
Being in his press conferences and being at Manchester United games, what's the kind of general mood when you know, I'm sure there's bits that are off camera. I don't know if there's kind of conversations that happen pre and post-match press conferences and stuff like that. But what's the relationship like with yourself and the other kind of written journalists? Do you think the written journalists like working with him, like him as Manchester United manager? Kind of what's the reporter hat on, Micky?
Let me put it this way to you, right? So, for instance, if you walk into a Pep Guardiola press conference, and I talked about winning football matches and winning trophies, got this aura about Pep Guardiola. You walk into that room and you second guess yourself. Can I ask this question? Am I brave enough to ask this question?
Ask it, Micky. Back yourself, Micky.
Well, there you go.
Don't be scared of
Pep.
Pep.
And that's the difference. It's not just me. There's a lot of people in that room are questioning whether they should ask what they want to ask Pep Guardiola. And that comes with success and power. Of course it does. I think when I'm in there and I sit with the written press and stuff like that, it's an open book. Anybody can go in and ask what you want, and there's no fear factor whatsoever of just throwing a question at Ruben Amorim. If you put your hand up, and sometimes you go in there and you're not able to ask a question, but other times when the written press and myself and other people are in that room, you can ask what you want. And I think that's the difference at the moment, and that has gone on for too long at Manchester United. Look, they've got this incredible brand new training facility now, which they spent £50 million on. I was actually there on the day where they show people around and see how the players, you know, they get looked after in the medical rooms and all the spa stuff and etc. And everything they want is there. Formula One racing car, you know, they've got the lot. Hairdressers, everything is there.
Did you not? They've got hairdressers?
Yes.
I tell you what, looks like you've been to the barbers this morning, by the way. That's a remarkable sort of slick back haircut you've got going on there.
Yeah, just
was there not? Did you not have barbers back in the day at Sunderland? Did you not get a skin faded for a training session?
Weirdly, we moved to the new training ground and there was a room for a barber's. I don't think it ever got used because I wasn't there long enough, whether it did afterwards. But they can bring their own barber in to use that room.
Game's gone, Micky, hasn't it? Game's gone.
I mean, I asked the question, I said, well, where's the golf simulator? It was the only thing that wasn't there. And they said, it did get a mention. I don't know why.
Do you know if they've got a paddle court? Or are they going to get a paddle court?
Yeah, they are. Okay. So there's different areas and stuff in there, and where the Jimmy Murphy building is, where we used to do our press conferences, that's all changed now. There's a little area there, and I think the players have requested paddle courts.
Yes, well, paddle is the new thing now, isn't it?
It's the growing
You would have thought at a football club, at a training ground, that getting a golf simulator would be the number one thing on players' wish list, right?
I think it's more down to injuries.
You're right.
Same with paddling.
Yeah, well, if you're worried about injuries and don't get a paddle, can you imagine that as a story though? You got
Brighton have one, don't they?
That does feel risky though. It's like I cover a lot of cricket, and often back in the day, or even a few years ago, England would play a game of five-a-side, football before cricket. And there was just a period of time where there were too many players rolling on. They just had to stop. So can you imagine for a Manchester derby before going to Anfield, Bruno Fernandes rolls his ankle playing paddle? You wouldn't hear the end of it, would you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but it's got everything else. But that's the difference. If I can kind of put it in a nutshell of, the aura of one manager to another at the moment, and the reason being that Manchester United is always the big story, and Ruben Amorim not getting results every single week. It's going in as a free-for-all to ask what you want.
You'll be there Friday before Liverpool-Manchester United, which is a week Sunday. Regular updates on that across talkSPORT. England have got 4.5 overs to go in their innings. Guy Swindles mentioned in his last report they'll be desperate to get close to 250. Guy, how are they getting on?
Not brilliantly, it must be said, because Charlie Dean has just gone. She tried to play a little chip sweep shot and just played it straight to short fine leg. Vihanga took an almost training ground catch, and Charlie Dean had gone for 19 of 36 balls, and this has been England's problem. They just can't up the scoring rate. Nat Skipper-Brunt is still there, the captain, 81 from 101 deliveries, but when you think that England after 30 overs were 145 for 3, and now we're in the 46th, they're only 206 for 7.
Regular updates throughout the afternoon with Guy Swindles as England look to make it 3 wins from 3 at the Cricket World Cup. Coming up next, though, on the Saturday session in League 1 and League 2, we're going around the grounds. Good afternoon. It is the Saturday session. It's Sam Ellard, Micky Gray with you until 5 o'clock this evening. It might be the international break, so there's no Premier League football today. There's no Championship football today, but there are games up and down the country in League One and in League Two. We've got 11 games in League Two. We've got 6 games in League One. We'll, of course, keep you across all of the action from 3 o'clock. There's live commentary on talkSPORT 2 at 3 o'clock of Stockport versus Blackpool. Only Birmingham have won more league games in England's top 4 tiers in 2025 than Stockport, including 12 of their last 19 league matches. Stockport versus Blackpool. Team news with Adam Bridge.
Indeed. Good afternoon. Welcome to Edgley Park. Beautiful sunny day. It's a good record for Stockport, though they haven't won at home here in the league since the 23rd of August against Burton. They'll be looking to put that right today. A couple of changes as well. One enforced. Onyango is suspended. He's got a red card last weekend. And Drayson is absent from the matchday squad today. So O'Keefe will come in to play at right wing back. And Nathan Lowe, of course, who was on loan in League Two last year for half of the season, tearing things up at Walsall before heading back to Stoke. Well, he's on loan this year at Stockport, and he comes in and he will be one of the 3 up top for Dave Challoner's side today. As for Blackpool, of course, they sacked Steve Bruce after last weekend's defeat at the hands of Wimbledon. We will see what Stephen Dobbie, who's in charge today, will offer up his second caretaker spell. They sit languishing 23rd despite bringing in 13 players in the summer. 3 changes from them today and a change in shape. They've gone from the 4-5-1 to a more of a 4-4-2. Bailey Peacock-Farrell was playing for Northern Ireland yesterday, so he's replaced in goal by Ravizoli. We also see Horsfall, who was here at Stockport last season, dropped down to the bench. He's replaced by Lyons in the heart of defence, and Ashley Fletcher comes in up top to partner Dale Taylor. So a 4-4-2 for Blackpool, looking to just get some positives and lift the gloom around the Seasiders right now. We're live on talkSPORT 2 this afternoon from 2:30.
Elsewhere in League One, Wimbledon v Port Vale. Wimbledon 5th in the table. They've won 7 of their opening 11 League One games so far this season. Their most victories at this stage of a campaign in the club's history. Team news at Plough Lane with Tom Clayton.
Well, Wimbledon come into this on the back of 5 straight wins in all competitions, 4 of which in the league. A win today could put the Dons in the League One automatic promotion places, depending on results elsewhere. Dons boss Johnny Jackson signed a fresh contract extension yesterday, along with his backroom staff as well. He's forced into 2 changes from victory at Blackpool last week, with Johnson and Hippolyte both called for international duty. So in come Riley Harbottle and Marcus Brown. Top scorer Matty Stevens is out with a hamstring injury. Wimbledon face an equally stout Port Vale side playing much higher to a level than their 16th place league possession would suggest. They're also unbeaten in 4 league games. Darren Moore's also made changes from their draw with Northampton last week, 5 in total. 1 is due to internationals, as informed goalkeeper Joe Gauci is away with Australia. Ben Amos impressed in the EFL Trophy in midweek and is brought in. Jaheim Headley also misses out through injury today, so in comes Ronan Curtis to deputise on left wing. Ben Hennigan, George Hall and Ryan Crosdale coming on into the side as Humphreys, Shipley and Brown drop out. Vale have won one of the last 3 meetings between these two, but both sides are in searing form. Who comes out on top today? At the Cherry Red Record Stadium, it's AFC Wimbledon v Port Vale.
Elsewhere in League One, Leyton Orient versus Doncaster. Watching for talkSPORT and Neil Condola.
Good afternoon from a very glorious day here at Brisbane Road, where Leyton Orient, who sit just 2 points above the relegation zone in 18th, welcome newly promoted side Doncaster Rovers, who are sitting rather pretty in 10th, just 2 points off the playoff spots. As for the teams, it's 2 changes for Leyton Orient, including a change in goal as Killian Cahill comes in for Tommy Simkin. As for Doncaster, despite making 3 changes, their top goal scorer and captain Owen Bailey starts the game. Both sides, however, are winless in their last 4 league matches respectively. But I'm expecting goals here today, given the fact you'd have to go all the way back to 2006 to find the last time these 2 sides played out a 0-0. Live from Brisbane Road, it's Leyton Orient versus Doncaster Rovers.
Elsewhere in League One, it's a 2 o'clock start for Northampton versus Rotherham. Northampton have lost just 1 of their last 6 league games, keeping a clean sheet during each victory in that game. Burton versus Bolton. Burton starting the day 21st in the table. Burton have lost each of their last 3 home league games without scoring. Exeter versus Reading, that's 17th v 19th. 2 sides that have had tricky starts to the season after beating Lincoln 1-0 last time out. Exeter looking to win 3 successive league games for the first time since March earlier this year. And again, a reminder, that the League One commentary for today, Stockport versus Blackpool in League One, that is a talkSPORT 2 exclusive. And the other game is Wigan versus Wycombe. That is a 3 o'clock kickoff. That's League One. We'll take a very quick break on the Saturday session on talkSPORT. And when we come back, we'll get all the latest team news from our games in League Two.
such a poor decision.
Yeah, I think he's just made a bad decision in that instance.
But what does it take to get to the very top of football refereeing? Every referee starts with their county FA. It's a simple training course and you can take it as soon as you hit your 14th birthday. Once you've done that, you have to go through at least 11 hours of face-to-face training. You'll then graduate as a Level 7 official, which means you can take charge of county-level games. But hold your horses, there's still a long way to go to get to the Premier League. Your next step is to spend a year each at Levels 6, 5 and 4. This covers the top of the amateur game. Only at Level 3 do you start doing Northern Counties or Isthmian League level games, for example. If you've done this all quickly, you can reach Level 2 and ref your first National League match after, oh, I don't know, 6 years? After getting enough experience at that level, you can apply to be a referee in the EFL. There's an interview, people watching you do games, and then, if the EFL are happy, you'll be granted a Level 1 licence to ref in games in League 2 and above. Now, they don't just say on you go to the Premier League, you have to work your way up through the divisions. Only after years of hard work and refereeing on cold Tuesday nights in Stoke can you be considered to do matches in some of Europe's very best stadiums. Now, who was the youngest to reach the very top? It was actually Michael Oliver. He refed his first Premier League match in 2010 at the tender age of just 25. So if you want to follow in his footsteps, crack on. It'll only take you roughly a decade, thousands of hours of work and an incredibly thick skin. In total, there are 37,000 registered referees across England, but the PGMOL has only deemed 21 good enough for the top flight. That means there's not even a 1 in 1,000 chance you'll even make it in. Obviously, referees can make mistakes, but when you think about it, having a go at
Good afternoon. It is the Saturday session. We are live on talkSPORT, the world's biggest sports radio station. It's Sam Ellard, the former Sunderland, England defender, Micky Gray, with you until 5. It's a slightly different Saturday afternoon with it being an international break, but still football being played up and down the country. 7 games in League 1, 11 in League 2, starting at 3 o'clock. We'll keep you across all of the action. We're at Stamford Bridge 2 for a legends clash between Chelsea and Liverpool. Some big name players on display for Chelsea in particular. Eden Hazard, John Terry, Diego Costa, just to name a few. We're chatting with the Abrahams very shortly. There's cricket. England looking to make it through in some 3 in the Cricket World Cup. They're 233 for 8 into the 49th over. Could potentially be a few runs short there. Look to try and get close to 250. And also, we're bringing you the very best build-up to what follows us at 5 o'clock. The Super League Grand Final. Hull KR Wigan. Can Wigan win it for the 3rd year in a row? And a big night of boxing as Dave Allen takes on the biggest challenge of his career so far when he steps into the ring to face Arsenal bank Makhmudumov. Both the rugby and boxing live on talkSPORT from 5 on the Saturday session on talkSPORT. So we brought you team news in League 1. Let's now bring you team news in League 2. Let's go with Crawley versus Walsall. Walsall top of the table, and they've won 8 of their opening 11 League 2 games this season. Their most victories at this stage of the season since 2000. That's the season during which they were promoted from the 3rd tier. So a good start to the season for Walsall. Can they win again today? Watching for talkSPORT, Will Hobbs.
Great stats there, Sam. Walsall are top of League 2. Their nickname is the Saddlers. Their CEO is called Ben Sadler, and their manager is Matt Sadler, who used to play for today's opponents, Crawley. All the Saddlers can go 4 points clear at the top with a win today, and Matt has made 4 changes from their 2-0 win over Bristol Rovers last week. Striker Daniel Carnew's won his fitness race, but centre-back Madison Burke hasn't. Courtney Clark, Jamie Jellis and Brandon Comley all come in. For the hosts, Crawley, who were nicknamed the Red Devils long before Man United, this is their worst ever start to a Football League season. Just 2 wins in 11 games and only 9 goals scored. Their manager, Scott Lindsay, has made 3 changes from their 3-1 defeat at Cambridge. Striker Kane Dixon is away with Jamaica, so in comes Kabongo Shimanga, who scored off the bench last week, and Max Anderson is rewarded for his cup performance on Tuesday with a start in midfield. Crawley haven't played out a 0-0 draw at home since April 2023, so a 2.5-year wait. The opponents that day were Walsall. A repeat of that, however, is not expected. Crawley versus Walsall, kick-off, of course, at 3.
Elsewhere in League 2 today, Chesterfield versus Salford. Salford start the day 6. They've lost just 2 of their last 12 away league games, though those 2 defeats have come across their last 3 outings on the road. How will they fare this afternoon? Watching for talkSPORT, Alan Biggs.
Yeah, it's Chesterfield's unbeaten home record versus Salford's fine form on the road with 3 away wins so far, which in turn rather contrasts with Chesterfield's travel sickness, including that 6-2 crash at Colchester last week. Mind you, Salford have lost their last 2, so both teams needing a playoff pick-me-up. And it's a bit of a scouse fest, this one, between Liverpudlian managers Paul Cook and Carl Robinson. Chesterfield's Cook changes half the team, the outfield team that is, from last week's drubbing. He brings in Naylor, McFadzine, Markande, Bonis and Daly Campbell. For Salford and Robinson, 3 changes one enforced. Keeper Matty Young is on England international duty. So Mark Howard comes into goal, plus there are call-ups today for Ollie Turton and Cole Stockton. It's Chesterfield versus Salford at the SMH Group Stadium.
Gillingham versus Cheltenham. Gillingham going well in 4th, Cheltenham struggling 22nd, but Gillingham have failed to win any of their last 6 league games against Cheltenham. Watching the talkSPORT this afternoon, Craig Wakeling.
Yeah, cloudy sky above this part of Kent. Gillingham 4th in the league, but no win in 2, welcoming Cheltenham, who are just above the drop zone following their 2-0 win against Fleetwood, with Steve Cottrell in the early days of his second spell at the club, coming 23 years after his first. No Gareth Ainsworth in the home dugouts. He's still recovering from heart surgery, but has been having contact with Richard Dobson, who's covering his duties. Everyone here at talkSPORT wishes Gareth Ainsworth the very best. With the sides, Gillingham make 3 changes. Sam Vokes and Seb Palmer-Holden, who have both scored goals in the last week, are promoted from the bench, as is Max Clark. Cheltenham, the headline news in the starting 11 is that Jonathan Tompkinson, the under-23 USA international, whose signing was announced just yesterday, is straight in at left-back. March 2012 was the last time the Robins won in the league here. They'll be hoping to head home, putting that one right. It's Gillingham versus Cheltenham.
Elsewhere in League 2 today, Accrington, Newport, Bristol Rovers, MK Dons, Crewe, Bromley, Fleetwood, Harrogate, Grimsby v Colchester, Shrewsbury, Cambridge, Tranmere, Barnet, and the final game this afternoon is a 5:30 kickoff, slightly later time. That's Oldham versus Barrow. But we'll now go back to League 1 because Stockport versus Blackpool in League 1 is a talkSPORT 2 exclusive. Commentary from Adam Bridge and the former Arsenal midfielder Adrian Clark. Stockport 7th, Blackpool 23rd. Only Birmingham have won more league games in England's top 4 tiers than Stockport, and with just 8 points through their opening League 1 games this season, Blackpool have made their worst start to a 3rd-tier campaign since 2006-07. Micky, you cover a lot of Stockport. Let's also bring in then Adrian Clark on commentary duty, co-commentary duty this afternoon for talkSPORT 2. Clarky, how are you?
Good afternoon, Sam. Yeah, good afternoon, Micky.
Hi,
yeah,
mate.
very good. Yeah, beautiful day.
Good.
Here in Stockport.
And it's been a busy couple of days for Blackpool, hasn't it, Clarky? Tell us more.
Yes, it has. Yeah, Steve Bruce unfortunately lost his job. I don't think too many people were surprised about it. I was looking at their away form. They've lost every single away game so far in League 1. They've actually only scored once on the road, and of course we're well into October, so it's been way below expectations. I mean, they have had injuries. I mean, Honeyman is out at the moment. George Honeyman is a top player for them. Niall Ennis is probably their best striker. He's out as well. But you look at the names on the team sheet today, and this team should be mid-table at worst, really, at League 1 level. So, yeah, it's been a massive disappointment for them. And you feel for Steve Bruce. Got off to such a good start there last season. Had a bit of personal tragedy, didn't he? He lost his grandchild, which was awful, and he had some time off. And probably since he came back, the team has not really performed to expectations. So, yeah, no shock to me that they've made that change.
Adam, hi, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
very
good. Welcome to Edgeley Park. Mate, they've got to start turning these draws into wins, Stockport, because they went down as one of the favourites at the beginning of the season, and we've covered Stockport over the last couple of seasons. They've been on this incredible journey with Dave Chandler, but I think the next step is obviously getting to the Championship, because they're a successful team that want to drive and keep going forward.
100%. Yeah, I look at Stockport and I see a team that should absolutely be in the promotion mix. A lot of experience. They've got sport for choice in terms of forward players as well. Obviously, you've got Carl Wotton today and Nathan Lowe. Got players like Malik Mothersill on the bench as well. So yeah, look, they've got quality. They've got a great manager, haven't they? In Challoner, Dave Challoner, who seems to be a promotion specialist. So yeah, look, I think they're in a slightly false position. At the moment they're just outside the playoffs, aren't they, Stockport? But I expect them to be in it come the end of the season. And you're right about turning those draws into wins. It's more about turning winning positions into 3 points. That's the issue. They're a great first half team. I was looking at some of the numbers. They've led at half time in 8 of their 11 matches, but they keep losing the second half. So, yeah, that's something for them to work on moving forward.
Mickey, obviously Clark is there today, but you've covered a lot of Stockport over the last kind of year or so. They just missed out on the playoffs last season. Do you think they can go one better this year? Do you think they can finish in the playoffs?
Yeah, I do, and I think Adrian will see that today, the way that they set up. They're very well organised. One of the players that he mentioned was Carl Wotton. And Wotton, he's got that physical presence. Look, they had a bit of a thumping in midweek. I was at the game for talkSPORT against Salford, but he made a lot of changes. And you could also tell that he was going to play his big guns, if you like, in the game against Blackpool today. But Wotton's the focal point. You know, he's the physical presence, if you like. They've got very good midfield players. Ollie Norwood, who's probably the best player in that league, Adrian. I don't know if you agree with that with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what a signing. The goals that he gets, I know he scores penalties, but his assists and just his all-round game as well, and he kind of gets them ticking. But I think having Wotton up front, and sometimes he can drift out of a game, not as if he's not doing anything in the game, but that physical presence always seems to be there, and he just keeps creeping up with these goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, he's having a good start to the season. I mean, Ollie Norwood, I mean, it's not that long ago he was sort of a semi-regular in the Sheffield United midfield, so he's taken a drop down, and yeah, he's capable of running games, isn't he, at this level? God, I was down by the pitch earlier. It is an absolute beauty of a pitch, and it's made for a player like Ollie Norwood, who wants to get his foot on the ball and ping it here, there and everywhere. I'm looking forward to seeing Nathan Lowe today. Obviously did amazingly on loan at Walsall last season before getting called back by Stoke. Tremendously talented young player. You know, and like, as you said, very, very well organised. Got a settled back three as well, haven't they? Stockport County. Yeah, look, I look at them and I see a team that really should be in the promotion mix, because this year, guys, it is a wide open League One. Just look at the top. Stevenage, nobody expected Stevenage to be top of the pile at the moment. Bradford City, newly promoted, they're in second. Lincoln City in fourth. Wimbledon in fifth. This has been an early season of surprise packages coming to the fore. For me, the only surprise with Stockport is that they're actually behind those clubs at the moment, and I think over time they might reel them in.
Yeah, the big thing for them today, Clarkie, as well, some of the sides that are above them and not playing today, so they get that opportunity of kind of creeping up the league, if you like, and being in a position where they probably expected to be.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll be eager to put on a bit of a show in front of the supporters here. They've got good crowds, haven't they? About 9,500 expected, I think, today. And as Adam pointed out earlier, not one here since August. Too many draws. So, you look at this, well, I just said about Blackpool, only scored once on the road in League One this season. It feels like the kind of match they really should be winning. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. Obviously, for Blackpool, it's that weird kind of interim period where you've got the caretaker in charge. Be interesting to see if Stephen Dobby, who's the caretaker today, can get a tune out of the players, because they got good play. Look at the wingers, Josh Bowler and CJ Hamilton. These are really, really good wingers at this level. Ashley Fetcher up front, Dale Taylor as well. They've got good enough players to be way, way higher than they are Blackpool. So, mate, if they turn it on today, could have a competitive game.
Clarky, good stuff. And many people coming up to you asking where Micky is, probably wondering why Micky doesn't fancy doing Stockport this afternoon. He's in the warm studio on a Saturday. He's a glory hunter, isn't he, this Micky Gray? Unbelievable.
Yeah, I wonder why everyone looked at me with a sort of sense of disappointment.
What are you doing here, Clarky?
Oh, it's you. Oh, okay.
You'll get looked after there today, mate, I'm sure.
I've had a nice sausage and mash. I'm ready to go.
Oh, lovely.
Happy days. Clarky, you're a good man. Enjoy the game this afternoon.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, mate.
Stockport Blackport then in League One. It's the talkSPORT 2 exclusive commentary from Adrian Clark and Adam Bridge. I think the best way is always, Micky, I'm sure you do this, to flick between talkSPORT and talkSPORT 2 and our other sister stations, Virgin Radio, Talk Times. Get the talkSPORT app and you can simply swipe to wherever you want to be. To Colombo in the cricket, England, Sri Lanka. England looking to make it 3 wins from 3 out of the Cricket World Cup. They were asked to bat first by Sri Lanka. 50 overs completed, Guy Swindles. Is that a pass score, or are they a little bit short, do you think?
I think thanks to the 28 overs off the 28 runs off the final 2 overs, 253 for 9 is going to prove very testing indeed for Sri Lanka. But England have to thank their skipper. Nat Skipperbrunt scored 117 of those 253 runs off 117 balls, 9 fours and 2 sixes before she was eventually caught on the boundary. That's her 5th World Cup century, a record for a English woman at World Cups. So a terrific effort from her. Put in perspective, the next highest scorer was Tammy Beaumont with 32. But England, thanks to Skipperbrunt, have given themselves a real chance. Should just mention, amongst the bowlers, there was one brilliant performance from Wanawira, 10 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 33. And she really did put the brakes on for a while for Sri Lanka. But Sri Lanka now chasing 254 to stop England going 3 for 3.
Cheers, Guy. Back to Guy throughout the course of the afternoon to see if England can defend that target and go 3 from 3. This Saturday evening, talkSPORT brings you heavyweight boxing. Dave Allen will take on the biggest challenge of his career so far when he steps into the ring to face Arsenal Bank Makhmudov. We're previewing that big fight next on the Saturday session.
Makhmudov, that's him on the left. wrestling with an extremely big bear in the woods.
The Russian, it says he wrestles bears and he takes sledgehammers to the stomach in preparation.
Do you not do that? Is this not the guy that fights or spars with bears?
I've seen the video. I've seen the video.
With bears?
Well, he can wrestle with bears, but he's never been punched by a rhinoceros.
It's a barrage of action from Dave Allen.
I fancy beating Matt Madov, as scary as he is. He's going to fight my fight, and I don't think anyone can beat me at that.
He wanted to be the main attraction, and David Allen delivers.
Tune into my fight with Arslan Bet Matt Madov this Saturday on talkSPORT.
Good afternoon, it's the Saturday session on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard, Micky Gray with you until 5 o'clock. We're going around the grounds at 3 o'clock in League 1 and League 2. In the cricket, England 253 for 9 from their 50 overs against Sri Lanka. But now we turn our attention to boxing. And this Saturday evening, talkSPORT brings you heavyweight boxer Dave Allen taking on, no doubt about it, the biggest challenge of his career so far when he steps into the ring to face Arsenal Bank Makhmudov. Allen is making, no doubt about that, a big step up in competition following his devastating knockout win over Johnny Fisher back in May. That saw him claim the WBA Intercontinental Heavyweight title. However, a victory against the 6'5" Makhmudov would no doubt trump that. His Russian opponent won his first 18 fights with ease before losing for the first time a couple of years ago. But he comes into this bout with Allen off the back of a victory. Our expert team of Adam Couchell, Gareth A. Davis, Spencer Oliver and John Rawling will be calling you all of the action throughout the evening from 8 o'clock on talkSPORT, and you can also watch it on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. Delighted to say that Spencer Oliver, part of our team, is with us now live on talkSPORT. Spence, good afternoon.
Hey,
How
Spence.
are you, mate?
Yeah, how are you guys? Yeah, I'm here in the Sheffield Arena where we've hosted so many great fights over the years with the likes of the late, great Ricky Hatton, Nazim Hamed, Chris Eubank Sr. and many more. And now it's Dave Allen's chance to top the bill here. It really is a rocky story. I think that, you know, speaking to Dave, he's found a newfound love for the sport. He's got that great win over Johnny Fisher and he finds himself against a formidable Makhmudov. It's a great fight, a huge step up, but I think Dave Allen can do it.
Yeah, Spence, just for some listeners who maybe, don't know too much about Dave Allen, just tell us a little bit about his journey to this stage this evening.
Well, look, I think that if you go back to 2019, where Dave Allen had a great win over former world champion Lucas Brown, he won that in 3 rounds. You think this kid may be getting somewhere, he's getting some momentum. Then he goes in against David Price. He retires on his store at the end of round 9, and you go, well, perhaps that's the story over. It was a great little run for Dave. He seemed to be going in and out of boxing, falling out of love with boxing, if I'm honest, boxing on small hall shows, coming in overweight. Then he gets the opportunity back in December against Johnny Fisher. He goes out there as a huge underdog, and which, like myself and many others, felt he won the fight. He didn't go his way. He lost on a split decision. He got the return in May, and he righted the wrongs of that last performance out in Saudi Arabia, and he won the fight in sensational fashion, KOing Johnny Fisher in 5 rounds. And it's led to this against Makhmudov, and it's mad thinking about this, because if you that little journey that I've just taken you on with Dave Allen, you go like, you think his career's over after the David Price fight, and then he gets a great win over Johnny Fisher, and now dangling the carrot, if he wins this fight against Makhmudov, he believes he's going to get a fight possibly against Deontay Wilder. And speaking to Makhmudov yesterday as well, he said, if I win the fight, I've had DMs from Anthony Joshua saying that I could win this fight, so that the winner, really, there's so much on the line for that. Huge fights lie for the winner, and the loser has to rebuild. It's a fascinating fight, but what a story, what a journey from Dave Allen.
Spencer, I mean, we've all seen that journey of Dave Allen, but what's he coming up against Makhmudov? I mean, he's a big, strong, physical guy. We've all seen the pictures in the papers, etc., wrestling with bears and stuff like that. This is his first fight in England, I believe.
Yeah, it is. Makhmudov, I mean, we first heard about this guy a few years ago, and he was knocking everyone out, and he's a very intimidating figure, a fearsome looking guy, very, very tall, and he's got this little twitch, and it's like, you just wouldn't fancy meeting this guy down a dark alley, that's for sure. You'd steer well clear of him. And we saw him against Agit Kabayel in last December. He went in against Kabayel, was a huge favourite, and he got beaten in style with body shots in 4 rounds. He has since then won one, then lost to Vianello, and he got stopped in 8 rounds with a grossly swollen eye. So we have seen the vulnerabilities of Makhmudov. Before that, he was highly ranked as one of the best, contenders coming through. He has lost a couple since then, but this is a massive step up for Dave Allen, and they offered Dave Allen the fight. He accepted it, with what he could get in the future. But this is a tough, tall order for sure.
And Spencer, what else can boxing fans look forward to this evening? What else jumps out on the card tonight?
Well, we've got a rematch with Junaid Boston. He goes in against Bilal Fawaz, and what a fight that is. The last one, Boston, it was a controversial draw. A lot of people felt that Boston had lost that one. Fawaz said he wants to right the wrongs of that contest. He says he's going to do it, and he's going to do it in style. And we also got a fantastic super featherweight fight on there as well. We kick off our action live from 8 p.m. With Reece Bellotti. He goes in against Josh Padley. Now, Josh Padley lost for that world title fight. He got an opportunity to box for the world title against Shakur Stevenson. He lost that one, but come out with merit. Matchroom, you give him a contract. He finds himself in now against Bellotti, who's a former British and Commonwealth super featherweight champion. So that's a great fight there, and that's where we kick off all our action.
And Spencer as well. Yesterday was an emotional day in the world of boxing, in the world of sport. The funeral of Ricky Hatton, and it's covered in the newspapers today. Telegraph Sport, a family's grief. A city in tears as Ricky Hatton is laid to rest in Manchester. His daughter's heartbreaking eulogy sums up the tragedy of the great loss. The front of the Mirror, a champ to us all. Fans line the street as stars join family for farewell to boxing's humble hero. Front of the Sun, live forever in our hearts, Ricky. And back of the Mail as well, farewell to the people's champion, Spencer. An emotional day yesterday.
Yeah. It really was, testament to the man himself, Ricky Hatton, who was the boy next door that never forgot where he come from. And I think that's why people related to that. That's why he took 30,000 fans over to watch him. Whoever's done that, before that or even after that, no one will ever achieve that again, going to box Floyd Mayweather. And he was just a great guy to be around. It was a big shock to us all, and you see the turnout that he had there. And Liam Gallagher was sitting just a couple of rows in front of me, and you saw people like Ryan Giggs was there, and there was a whole host of stars that were there. Paddy McGuinness was there, and we had Freddie Flintoff. There was loads, and every sort of boxer had turned up there as well. It was a beautiful send-off for a fantastic man in Ricky Hatton.
Yeah. Spencer, well said. Thank you very much for joining us, and enjoy the boxing this evening.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Don't forget, from 8 p.m. we're live on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel, or you can listen to the commentary live on the radio.
I'll tell you what, Spencer should be hosting this show. He's just done my job for me there. I mean, there's me spending hours just writing everything down word for word. I'm going to read it. Spence goes, hey, don't worry about it, Sam. I'm in the big chair. I'll do what I'll do.
You could have had a drink of your tea there, couldn't you?
There we go. Chop man Spence, there we go. Go and enjoy. He'll be hosting the breakfast show in a couple of years' time.
Hey guys, have a break.
Have a break.
We will have a break. So yeah, Spencer says he's got the boxing this evening, and following the sad news of Ricky Hatton's passing, you can listen to a special episode of My Sporting Life with Danny Kelly, originally recorded in 2013, where Ricky reflects on a remarkable career from his early days in the ring to the biggest fights of his career to his retirement. That's My Sporting Life with Ricky Hatton, found on the talkSPORT Daily podcast feed. Good afternoon, it's the Saturday session. Sam Ellard, Micky Gray with you until 5 o'clock this evening. Then we hand over to the rugby. It's the Super League Grand Final. Hull KR versus Wigan. Wigan looking to make it 3 victories in a row in the Super League Grand Final. Right now on talkSPORT 2, build up to Stockport v Blackpool. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Live commentary on talkSPORT 2 with Adam Bridge and Adrian Clark. There's 6 games in League 1 this afternoon, 11 in League 2. We already have our first goal in League 1. It's a 2 o'clock start. Northampton v Rotherham. Sam Hoskins has given Northampton the lead. Northampton have lost just 1 of their last 6 league games. Rotherham's return of 8 points through their opening 10 league games this season is their lowest tally at this stage for a third-tier campaign since 1996. So Northampton going okay. Sam Hoskins scoring from the penalty spot, leading Rotherham by a 1-0. But Micky, I'm excited about everything in the show, obviously, but in particular now, I am very excited to talk all things darts. Are you a darts man? Do you like having a throw? Do you like?
I've got a dartboard.
Yeah,
I have a dartboard in the house. I used to play regular for like an hour, a couple of hours a day, and just like mine was round the board. That was what I used to do. And then once I'd done that, I used to then do the doubles and then the trebles all the way around the board. So I don't really play too much now. I watch it. I love watching it.
You should have been watching the World Grand Prix last night, because last night was the quarterfinals. Danny Noppert beating Gary Anderson, Johnny Clayton getting past Dirk van Dijvenbode, and Luke Humphries beating Cameron Menzies. But the game everyone was looking forward to, and it did not disappoint, was Luke Littler versus Gerwyn Price. 2 of the best players in the world. Gerwyn Price, first of 3 sets, found himself 2-0 up. He had match darts to win it, didn't take them. And I think you all know what was going to happen next. Luke Littler, being Luke Littler, did Luke Littler things and came back to win 3-2. Delighted to say the talkSPORT darts commentator, talkSPORT's very own Ian Danter, joins us live on the show now. Dance, good afternoon. That game, for various different reasons, did not let us down last night, did it?
No. Afternoon to you, gentlemen. Well, it was the blockbuster that we all hoped it would be. But yeah, the scoring got a little bit. They got a little bit bogged down at times, and the last leg was a perfect example where they were dead level, 2 sets all 2-leg, and they struggled to get off the mark because remember, with the World Grand Prix, this is a double in, double out tournament. It's the only, and as a consequence, it took a long while for Price and Littler to get underway, and then Littler takes out this 150 plus checkout shot to win the match when Price is set to win. Just fantastic entertainment. They'll both say, Sam, that they could have played better, but they matched each other so well, sort of shot for shot and drama for drama.
And that's what makes, Dance, as you said, this tournament so unique. And it's one of the reasons why I love this tournament. It's set play, but it's unique because you have to get in on a double. And, we saw Luke Littler and Gerwyn Price with some great checkouts, some good scoring, be at their best last night. But there were some legs where it took both of them a lot of darts to get underway. And it felt like at times you were watching the 2 best players in the world, but there were moments where it felt like you were watching a pub game. It felt like the pressure really got to both of them.
You can say to Gerwyn Price, it looked like a pub game, and see what happens to you, Sam.
I'm not that brave.
The pressure of double in, double out is intense, and it gets to everybody. It doesn't matter what your standing in the world rankings is. Getting underway, particularly in those pressure situations, can really get to a player. They end up going around the board trying to find a double that actually, because they don't always go for tops to try and get underway. Lots of players go for 16s. You had Gerwyn Price practicing on double
13s. I know, that's bizarre, Dance, no?
Yeah. So, everyone's got their own little idiosyncrasies for coming in, the way that they go out, because as we know, players like Luke Littler prefer to go out on double 10 these days. That's his favourite double. You've got players like Ryan Searle, who's brilliant on tops. You've got Ryan Joyce, who's excellent on double 16. Everyone's got their own little favourites. But, Gerwyn Price having match darts, missing on double 12 and double 6, and then Luke taking out a finish to save the set. There were some brilliant moments throughout that match where you thought Luke was clinging on by his fingernails, and you thought, well, this is Gerwyn Price, he's going to take care of him, and it just didn't quite happen.
And as always with Gerwyn Price games, Dance, one of the things that I love most about watching Gerwyn, not just the great darts, but you know, on stage, he's a character. He's the booyahs, the celebrations. It always adds, doesn't it, to the occasion. But also, well, to be fair to Luke Littler, who kind of kept his calm for most of the game. Towards the end of it, there was a few sort of booyahs as well from Luke Littler, and always with Go. And I think it just adds to the drama of the occasion. It's cinema, isn't it, when Gerwyn Price is on the yocking?
And I think you saw when the final dart was hit, when Luke took out that 152 checkout, that the appreciation and the sportsmanship from towards Luke Littler. I think there's a rather nice redemption arc with Gerwyn Price, because we're only 2 or so years on from him wearing ear defenders at Alexandra Palace as a...
One of my favourite sporting moments, Dan, of all time, the image of him, where it's just incredible.
It wasn't for him, because that was when he was in the midst of being the supposed pantomime villain of the PDC, and everybody seemed to be gunning for him in audiences, and that's the only way he felt he could deal with it at that particular time. But thankfully, that negativity from audiences towards Gerwyn has subsided, and I'm really pleased about that, because we need to get back to looking at what a fantastic dart player he is, and I think he's going to be very, very hard to beat when we get to Alexandra Palace in December, because I just think he's working himself up, Sam, into that position where you get to the Players' Championship finals at the end of the year and then onto the Worlds at Ali Pali. I think he's going to make sure he's on tip-top form, ready for the trip to Norfolk.
Yeah, he's played lots of darts, hasn't he, away from the TV this year, and had some good success. He's won on the floor, he's won on the Euro Tour, he's won in the World Series, so he's been in good form. Dance, I'm sure Danny Noppert and Johnny Clayton will have other ideas, because they're both in their own rights. We know top-class darts players, both won majors themselves, but there's a good chance after 5-6 good nights of darts action, we could have the two Lukes going at it tomorrow night. Can you see a situation where we don't get a Humphreys-Littler final tomorrow night?
I'm probably looking at Clayton having more of a chance than Danny. I think usually with Luke Humphreys, what happens is if he doesn't, he actually said this in his press conference last night, that if he doesn't get knocked out early, he goes all the way. And his semi-final record, Sam, is extraordinary. I think 17 major semi-finals and only 3 or 4 defeats.
Not bad, is it?
It's a really, really strong record he's got in the last 4 of tournaments. So Danny's a very steady player. And you have to remember, it's difficult to average anywhere near 100 in the double-in, double-out format. We're used to seeing ton-plus averages a lot in regular set play and leg play. But in the Grand Prix, it's very difficult. But, of course, we had that extraordinary game in the first round where you had both Luke Littler and Kian van Veen.
Oh, that was incredible. Yeah.
You know, Kian had a better average than Luke and went out with I think 106, 107 average. So Danny's a very steady player. Luke's already seen off an equally steady player in Christoph Ratajski early on in this tournament. Cameron Menzies pushed him at times in the quarterfinals, but Luke Humphreys, he says he slowed his game down a little bit, and you can see that in terms of him getting from dart 1 to dart 3. You can see that just designed to steady himself a little bit. It's bearing fruit. And this is his 3rd consecutive semi-final at the World Grand Prix. It was his first major win 2 years ago. He got knocked out last year, by Mike de Decker in the final stage. So he's gone deep in this tournament 3 years in a row. So you should definitely not rule Luke Humphreys out.
It's Humphreys, Noppert, Littler, Clayton, 2 semi-finals, World Grand Prix. Dance, thank you for your time and enjoy the games tonight. Should be a belter.
Cheers, boys. Have a good one.
Cheers, Dan.
Top man, that's talkSPORT. Ian Danter, talkSPORT. He'll be back for the Ali Pali World Darts Championships at the end of the year. Coverage of that on talkSPORT. Now, make sure you check out the latest talkSPORT Daily podcast. Ben Fletcher and Charlie Baker discuss the glorious chaos of non-league football, crumbling grounds, muddy pitches, dodgy pies, and moments you never see in the posh league. This was Charlie Baker questioning his life choices when travelling away to watch Torquay United.
Why am I here? I once went to Concord Rangers away. Not even the biggest team on Canvey Island, Fletch. And I was like, what? But then we won 1-0 with a header in the 78-something minute. And I celebrated that as though we'd just won the Champions League. And I maintain it is no different. Because in my heart, in my soul, that's what it's for.
It's my team, yeah.
That's what it's for. It's my team. And I'm cheering on... You know, I don't live in Devon anymore, and I don't know if I ever will. again, but mum and dad are still there. And when one day they pass on, if that's before me, then my only connection to Devon will actually be Torquay United. My only excuse to go to Devon will be Torquay United. So I'm always like, well, that is what I'm cheering on. Where I grew up, home.
Yeah,
you're cheering on home.
Mickey, we all fortunate enough to here at talkSPORT, we get to go to some Premier League grounds, and depending on where you go, you're often sitting in luxury, aren't you? But as Charlie says there, I still, my two local teams, Barnet and Bournemouth. Whenever I get the opportunity, go down there, watch some football. You can't beat it, can you?
Well, no, my nephew actually, he plays at Curzon Ashton at the moment in the Northern Premier League. He kind of started off with Hartlepool, and he's eventually got to Curzon Ashton at the last stages of his life. And his footballing life, I should say.
He's still got a few more years to go.
I think he has. Yeah, I hope he has.
Is he 85 playing for Curzon Ashton, just still doing things up front?
And do you know, I've been there 2 or 3 times, I think, and watching him standing up in the stands, watching the games. I love it. Forget about VAR and stuff like that.
There's no VAR, is there?
Yeah, I must say that their pitch is pretty decent, but I understand, the muddy pitches and stuff like that. But they're right about the pies and the chips, and you see people going there, and it's their team. They absolutely love it. I mean, I touched on Stockport. You look at the journey that Stockport have been on over the last 5 or 6 years. They're great games to go to. So if you're not a supporter of them, and you live around that area, get yourself there
for sure,
and see a game, because you come out and you go, I'm really surprised at how much I've enjoyed that. I love them.
The latest podcast is available now. Make sure you tune in to the talkSPORT Daily Podcast, available on all of the usual podcast platforms, as well as the talkSPORT app. League One and League Two games up and down the country about to get underway at 3 o'clock. Up next, we're getting team news and previews.
She's just a cosmic girl.
Afternoon, Saturday session on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard, Micky Gray with you until 5 o'clock. We've got 6 League One games this afternoon, 11 in League Two. One game in League One was a 2 o'clock kickoff. Approaching half-time, Northampton leading Rotherham by a goal to nil. Let's now take you around the grounds in League One and League Two. In League One, 5th place Wimbledon taking on Port Vale. Wimbledon have lost each of their last 3 games against Port Vale. At Plough Lane is talkSPORT's Tom Clayton.
And it's 5 wins in a row for Wimbledon. The Dons are well in the fight for the League One playoffs this season so far and could go into the automatics with a win today. Johnny Jackson, who signed a new contract in the week, makes 2 changes to the side that beat Blackpool last weekend. Johnson and Hippolyte both miss out as they're called up to international duty. In come Riley Harbottle and Marcus Brown. Darren Moore shuffles a pack from Port Vale's goalless draw with Northampton last weekend. Out goes goalkeeper Gauci, who's on international duty with Australia. Then Humphreys, Shipley, Headley and Brown will drop out. In comes Amos in the 6th. Then Hennigan, Crosdale, Curtis and youngster George Hall. Wimbledon are yet to draw a game this season in any competition. They'll be hoping it's more boom than bust at the sold-out Cherry Red Records Stadium today, where legendary manager Bobby Gold has just been given an ovation by the fans on a lap of honour. Under the beautiful blue skies in South London, it's AFC Wimbledon against Port Vale.
Leyton Orient have won just 2 of their last 14 league games against Doncaster, though one of those victories did come in their last meeting back in January 2023 at Brisbane Road this afternoon. talkSPORT's Anil Kondola.
The sun is shining here at Brisbane Road, and it's 3 changes for Leyton Orient as Killian Cahill comes in for Tommy Simkin in goal and Jack Simpson is in for Amari Edmonds-Green, who drops to the bench. As for Doncaster, it's 3 changes as Jay McGrath, Conor O'Riordan and Jack Senior come in for Sean Graham, Matty Pearson and James Maxwell. Leyton Orient, of course, the home side here, have only managed just 2 victories against Doncaster since 2003. As for the away side, however, they know a win today can push them right into the playoff positions. With both sides needing a win for very different reasons this afternoon, is sure to be a brilliant bit of action from League One. Live from Brisbane Road, it's Leyton Orient versus Doncaster Rovers with kick-off fast approaching.
Yeah, it's now half-time. Northampton 1, Rotherham 0. That's the only game this afternoon, starting at 2 o'clock. Other games in League One at 3 o'clock. Burton, Bolton, Exeter, Reading. A big game, Stockport v Blackpool. Stockport just outside the playoffs, Blackpool 23rd. There's live commentary of that. talkSPORT 2 exclusive commentary from Adam Bridge and former Arsenal midfielder Adrian Clark. That's on talkSPORT 2 at 3 o'clock. Elsewhere in League One, Wigan v Wickham. Into League Two. Let's start, shall we, with Crawley versus Walsall. Walsall top of the table. Crawley have won just 1 of their last 11 league games against Walsall. Will Walsall continue their good start to the season, Will Hobbs?
Yeah, I'll be hoping so. Reigning League Two Manager of the Month and former Crawley midfielder Matt Sadler takes his table toppers to his old stomping ground to continue what's been their best start to a league season for 23 years. He's made 4 changes from their 2-0 win against Bristol. The impressive midfielder Courtney Clark is handed a start after numerous cameos off the bench. Dan Carnew is fit to start up front, but Madison Burke, the centre-back, isn't. The Sadlers are flying, but Crawley have been crawling. It's their worst ever start to an EFL season. 2 wins from their first 11 games. Scott Lindsay's made 4 changes. Kane Dixon is away with Jamaica, so he's picked 3 strikers, Loft, Shimanga and McCurdy, in a desperate search for goals. No goalless draws at this stadium since April 2023, but that was between these 2 teams. Goals are expected today, though, as 21st place Crawley take on league leaders Walsall.
Chesterfield versus Salford is 9th v 6th, just 1 point separating these 2 sides in the table. So, Alan Biggs, it could be a close one.
Yeah, it's expected to be very close indeed. And besides the fact there's only a point between the sides, Chesterfield are unbeaten at home. Salford are excellent away. They've won 3 matches on their travels, so that looks a good balance. There are changes in the teams, mostly in the home side. Paul Cook, Chesterfield manager, saw enough in the 6-2 crash at Colchester last week to change half the outfield team. 5 changes from the drubbing. Naylor, McFadzine, Mark Handay, Bonus and Daly Campbell all come in. For Salford, a change in goal with Matty Young on international duty. Mark Howard comes in to deputise, and the other 2 changes made by Carl Robinson. There are call-ups for Ollie Turton and Carl Cole Stockton. Chesterfield versus Salford.
Gillingham having a really good start to the season in League Two, 4th in the table. Cheltenham not so much, 22nd in the table, but Gillingham have lost each of their last 2 league games. That's as many as across their prior 27 matches. Will they get back to winning ways this afternoon in front of talkSPORT's Craig Wakeling?
Priestfield filling up nicely, sprinkled and training goals put away. Gillingham looking for their first league win in 3, hoping to get above the automatic promotion line. They're currently 4th after that recent dip, Sam. 3 changes for the home side, including the 2 strikers. Palmer Holden and Sam Vokes lead the line in the absence of boss Gareth Ainsworth. No win here for Cheltenham in the league since March 2012. American under-23 left-back Jonathan Tompkinson, whose signing was only announced yesterday, is straight in the starting lineup. A few Robin fans coming prepared with stars and stripes flags. It's Gillingham versus Cheltenham.
Game starts at 3 o'clock. Regular updates from League One and League Two up and down the country at 3 o'clock in the Saturday session. Now, what an afternoon fans have in store at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea legends are taking on Liverpool legends, including the likes of Petr Cech, John Terry, Eden Hazard, Robbie Keane, just to name a few. The big boys have come out, Micky Gray. The big boys have dusted off the boots. They're at Stamford Bridge this afternoon. talkSPORT's Ian Abrahams is at Stamford Bridge. He's caught up with the Liverpool goalkeeper today, Sander Westerveld, and asked him what it's like being involved in a Legends game like this.
Yeah, this is what it's all about. I think those charity matches, and especially charity matches where you have to raise money as much as possible. This is what you like. I miss football, so to be back at and playing those charity matches is the best you can have. And then playing against the former best players in the world is absolutely amazing. Of course, it's better to have recognized players for the fans as well, and to get all those names out. Obviously, for us, it's an away game, so it's more difficult to get the big ones in. But looking at the team sheet of Chelsea, that's amazing. So, as a goalkeeper, I'm not sure I'm really looking forward to all those names, but hopefully after the game, I'll have a good time.
We can now go to Stamford Bridge. talkSPORT's Ian Abrahams is there. He's going to be watching the action this afternoon. Moose, you go, I'm sure, to a lot of games like this. I mean, the Chelsea team in particular is absolutely stacked full of legends.
Yeah, good afternoon from a hot, sunny Stamford Bridge. Yeah, it's a bit stacked, isn't it, really? Petr Cech is the goalkeeper. When you look at the back four, it includes William Gallas, who is, as the teams come out now, John Terry, Gary Cahill. Midfield's got John Obi Mikel, Florent Malouda, and Eden Hazard. Up front, Diego Costa and Suleiman Kalou. So you're right, it's an absolutely incredible team. And when you consider that on the bench, Chelsea have got the likes of World Cup winner Marcel Desailly, Joe Cole, Ida Gudjonsson, and Jody Morris and Thiago. I feel a bit sorry for the Liverpool team, who managed by legends themselves, Ian Rush, John Aldridge, Phil Thompson and Sammy Leo, I got to meet amazingly before the game. They're starting lineup because Yossi Benayoun played, of course, for both clubs, Ryan Babel, Jay Spearing, Florent Cinema Pongol, and on the bench to bring on, in case needed, Jermaine Pennant.
Moose, it sounds like a pretty enjoyable atmosphere inside the stadium there today, but I'm sure when these players start taking to the field, that's when the serious head goes on, and they'll both want to win, albeit it's for charity.
Well, you played in many of these, so you would know, and absolutely right. I mean, generally I love coming to these sort of games because the only thing that's missing from first time around is the speed. You know, these players don't forget how to play. You know, Diego Costa hasn't forgotten, but he's still playing, how to bully defenders. John Terry hasn't forgotten how to defend. You know, they just do it a little bit slower than how they used to do it. So I'm looking forward to seeing an awful lot of skill on display. A bit of fun as well, because you tend to find it's a little bit less serious, Micky. I'm sure you've got some stories during your time playing Legends game. It's a little bit less serious. But, of course, the competitive nature never leaves you boys, does it?
No, absolutely. And Sam was just saying there before, I think some of that Chelsea starting 11 could actually maybe get a game still now.
Well, it's quite amazing, really, that they have got the amount of players they have. And, you know, Gary Cahill's only just recently retired, or you could say the same for Martin Kenny in terms of the Liverpool side. But you're right. I mean, you know, when you've got people like William Gallas and Marcel Desailly, you've got Diego Costa, who only just finished playing, and Joe Cole. I mean, there's a video on social media of Joe Cole playing in a charity game a few Sundays ago where he scored from near enough the halfway line. If he does that this afternoon, Stamford Bridge will go nuts.
I'm looking forward most to Diego Costa. Of course, when he was a Chelsea player at Stamford Bridge, I mean, housery, shall we say, was something that he was particularly good at. I think he's sort of the kind of guy, even though it's a charity game, we're still going to see elbows, maybe the odd dive. I'm banking Moose on some Diego Costa housery, even though it's a game for charity.
It's funny you say that because, again, Micky will know this, having been a player and now being a pundit. We often say, you know, kick his granny for 50p. And I'm sure that Diego Costa probably would kick his granny for 50p. The one thing I would say is that Chelsea have, you not argue, it's fact, haven't had a decent out-and-out number 9 centre forward since Diego Costa left.
Bring him back.
So I was going to say, I'm not sure if Todd Bowley's actually here today or Enzo Maresca. I doubt either are. But if he does manage to score a few goals here today, he might well earn himself a contract till the end of the season, especially with Liam Delap out injured.
Ian, enjoy the game. We'll speak to you throughout the course of the afternoon. Chelsea legends, Liverpool legends at Stamford Bridge. We're taking a very quick break on the Saturday session on talkSPORT. When we come back, we're going around the grounds, up and down the country in League One and League Two.
Let's be honest, we've all found ourselves raging at a referee's decision at some stage. This feel familiar?
That is an absolutely shocking decision.
They've got a case in that it was a bad decision.
It's such a poor decision.
Yeah, I think he's just made a bad decision in that instance.
But what does it take to get to the very top of football refereeing? Every referee starts with their county FA. It's a simple training course and you can take it as soon as you hit your 14th birthday. Once you've done that, you have to go through at least 11 hours of face-to-face training. You'll then graduate as a Level 7 official, which means you can take charge of county-level games. But hold your horses, there's still a long way to go to get to the Premier League. Your next step is to spend a year each at levels 6, 5 and 4. This covers the top of the amateur game. Only at level 3 do you start doing Northern Counties or Isthmian League level games, for example. If you've done this all quickly, you can reach level 2 and ref your first National League match after, I don't know, 6 years? After getting enough experience at that level, you can apply to be a referee in the EFL. There's an interview, people watching you do games, and then, if the EFL are happy, you'll be granted a level 1 licence to ref in games in League 2 and above. Now, they don't just say on you go to the Premier League, you have to work your way up through the divisions. Only after years of hard work and refereeing on cold Tuesday nights in Stoke can you be considered to do matches in some of Europe's very best stadiums. Now, who was the youngest to reach the very top? It was actually Michael Oliver. He reffed his first Premier League match in 2010 at the tender age of just 25. So if you want to follow in his footsteps, crack on. It'll only take you roughly a decade, thousands of hours of work and an incredibly thick skin. In total, there are 37,000 registered referees across England, but the PGMOL has only deemed 21 good enough for the top flight. That means there's not even a 1 in 1,000 chance you'll even make it in. Obviously, referees can make mistakes, but when you think about it, having
very good afternoon. It is the Saturday session. Sam Ellard and Micky Gray with you until 5 o'clock. We're going straight to Around the Grounds. There's games in League 1 and League 2. First, Crawley versus Walsall. Walsall top of the table, taking on Crawley, struggling in 21st place. Watching in front of Will Hobson. Will, an early penalty?
Early penalty to Crawley, and it's been saved by Walsall's goalkeeper Miles Roberts. Brilliant low save, diving down to his left-hand side, clawing it away from the bottom corner. Now Walsall win a free kick from the ensuing corner. Harry McCurdy stepped up, socks down, looked as cool, looked composed, tried to roll it in to his right-hand side, but it was saved. Crawley pressing already. Anderson forcing a good save from Roberts before that. Then Pereira. Whereas Walsall have also hit the bar through Presley, who curled one onto the bar from outside the box. It's lively in the first 5 minutes, but it's Crawley 0, Walsall 0.
Leighton Orient versus Doncaster at Brisbane Road. An early goal for talkSPORT's Anil Condola.
It's Leighton Orient 1, Doncaster 0, and it's Dom Ballard with the opener after just 60 seconds of action. Ballard scores his 4th goal of the season after some beautiful play between him and Aaron Connolly. It was a nice, neat 1-2 between Connolly and Ballard, which allowed Ballard to break into the box and score into the bottom left-hand corner. A brilliant start for the home side, and it seems they're going to carry on in the way that they've started. At the moment, it's 1-0 between Leighton Orient and Doncaster Rovers.
Goals elsewhere, Exeter 0, Reading 1. Jack Marriott scoring for Reading. Reading have lost just one of their last 7 games against Exeter and are unbeaten in each of their previous 3. Second half underway, Northampton leading Rotherham by a goal to 0. Other goals up and down the country in League 1 and League 2. There are no goals. You are across all the latest scores as they happen in League 1 and in League 2, up and down the country. Regular updates throughout the afternoon on talkSPORT. Micky, let's now talk about Anthony Taylor, who has been speaking publicly for the first time about being targeted by Roma fans as he walked through an airport with his family after the 2023 Europa League final. This is what he's had to say. That's the worst situation I've dealt with in terms of abuse, not only because I was travelling with family members at the time, but also highlights the impact of people's behaviour on others. Even a match like that, where there was actually no major mistakes in the game, for me, that's a great source of disappointment, frustration, anger. Why that's acceptable, I don't know, because I'm sure those individuals wouldn't like somebody to turn around and say that to them or their own children. It makes you reflect back on whether you made a mistake travelling with your family in the first place. They haven't been to a match since. Now, the head of Ref Support UK, Martin Cassidy, has been speaking to talkSPORT following Taylor's comments. Here's what he's had to say.
The news this morning about Anthony Taylor being concerned about his family watching games comes as absolutely no surprise to me. I know many referees in the game at all levels, they just won't bring their family to games. I personally had it when I was a referee. where my wife was getting abused because I sent someone off who headbutted another player. This is not a new thing. The new thing is that Anthony Taylor has come out and said it publicly. One of the best referees in the world can't take his family to games because of idiots who can't control their emotions. One of the biggest problems, in my opinion, here is there's too many stakeholders in the game who, when things like this happen, they don't stand up and support them. We just need more people to stop it, to stand up and make the game safer. It's just not happening. And I've feared for a long time that the death of a match official is only around the corner if we don't take fundamental changes to protect referees across the world.
Pretty strong stuff there from the head of Ref Support UK, Martin Cassidy. Taylor was confronted, if you remember, Mickey, by the Roma boss Jose Mourinho after his side had lost the Europa League final on penalties. He showed 13 cards to players during the game. Mourinho called Taylor a disgrace twice in a post-match news conference before confronting him. It was an incident the Portuguese was given a 4-match ban for there. But we both, I think, winced at the same time when we just heard Martin Cassidy say, possibly, hopefully not, but there could be a death of a match official.
Yeah, well, look, I think we're all in agreement that that's just taking it too far, and we do not, 100%, we do not want to see that. Look, this has been going on for years and years and years in all forms of football. Grassroots football, you know, if you go back to the years where they had to start putting ropes round pitches on Sunday afternoon so the parents couldn't get too close to referees or the officials on that day. But we're talking about, as Martin just mentioned there, one of the top referees that we've got, not just in the Premier League, but in Europe. He is one of the best. And look, we've all got our own opinions on football matches and decisions, and I think that's why that's why we all love it. We want to have these decisions, but I think when it gets to the point where Anthony's then turning around and saying that he's not able to take his family to football games, I think it's a step too far. Something should have been done about this many, many years ago.
What?
Well, social media doesn't help, put it that way. I don't know myself if Anthony Taylor is a part of social media. I'm not sure if he wants to be. I know this.
I can't imagine any referees are on social media.
No, I wouldn't think so, no. But I think because there's so much in the public eye now, and, you know, sports just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And Anthony Taylor seems to cover all of the biggest games, not just in the Premier League, but also across Europe as well. And I guess Jose Mourinho, at the time, we're talking about that game, the Europa League final, wasn't it? Yeah. He's probably knew what he was saying. But what Jose Mourinho probably hasn't realised is how far his words go. Now, for Anthony Taylor to get to an airport thinking that he's just going to walk through customs, give his passport and get on an aeroplane and fly home, thinking whether I've had a good refereeing game or a bad refereeing game. That's the way it should be, start and end. But to be confronted by supporters at an airport is way beyond the belt. It's way too far. And it should never have got to that level. And look, whatever Martin Cassidy said, he could have actually said more. And to come out with that statement at the end is damning. It's frightening. It's scary. As I said before, all individuals, we all have our own opinions on what we see and what decisions. As a player, I had a decision in my head, what I thought of a decision what a referee had gave me.
Do you just sorry to cut you off there, Mickey, do you ever, when you sort of look and watch on TV now and when you're at games at how Premier League players speak to officials, do you ever yourself think, goodness me, I hope I wasn't like that? Do you ever kind of regret maybe sometimes, I know you never took things too far, but almost swearing at referees, getting in their fakes? I don't know if you did that, but do you ever kind of regret the way you and maybe some of your teammates back in the day might have spoken to officials?
Well, look, in my early years when I was kind of feisty, if you like, and was playing at Sunderland, I got sent off for swearing at, in fact, it happened twice, just for swearing at a referee. And I know football is different to other sports and rugby. Sometimes, you know, you can say something in the heat of the moment and you do regret it. Of course you do. And as you're walking down the tunnel, it's like, what have I just done? You know, I've just let my teammates down, but I've also let myself down because I shouldn't be doing that type of thing. Now, football's in a different generation to when I played now. And as I said before, it's scrutinised more. Everything is picked up. So, of course, you have regrets. But I see a lot of players now thinking before they actually react. And that's on the field. But you have to think about supporters who are in the stadium. If they're upset with a challenge or they don't get a decision, then again, I talk about an individual opinion. And it is an individual opinion because you've got something in your mind and you want to either spurt it out. Some people think it in their brains. But when it comes to the level of family members being involved, it's just a step too far. In fact, it's a long way. It's a long step too far. And I think the sooner we can try to nip it in the bud and sort it out, the better it's going to be, because we don't actually want to see these quotes from Anthony Taylor. It shouldn't get that far.
Well said, Micky. So as the Premier League referee Anthony Taylor has highlighted in that interview, there has been an increase in verbal and physical abuse towards officials that are impacting all levels of football. Now, if you have any involvement with grassroots football, then we want to hear from you in the talkSPORT dugout to get your views on the situation at your local team or your kids' football club. Head to the dugout on the talkSPORT app or via the website on talksport.com/dugout to sign up and join the discussion. And Micky, what's going to be fantastic, make sure you listen to our special show on Kickoff on Wednesday from 8 p.m, where we delve deeper into the refereeing situation, in particular in grassroots football. I know the likes of Max Scott and Luke Henry here at talkSPORT put lots of time and effort into speaking to lots of people involved in different areas of not just the professional game, but grassroots football. A special show, Wednesday Kickoff, 8 p.m. Let's now check in on the cricket. England looking to make it 3 wins from 3 at the World Cup. From their 50 overs, they posted 253 for 9 with the bat. With the ball in hand, Guy Swindles, how have they started?
Well, they haven't taken a wicket, but something has happened. The score is 26 without loss, chasing that 254 after 7 overs. But the bad news for Sri Lanka is that Chamari Athapathu, their brilliant batting skipper, has had to go off with what looked to be quite a nasty hamstring injury. She literally just played the ball out into the leg side, trotted down for a single, and suddenly clutched a hamstring halfway down. She has now had to go off on a stretcher, injured for 7. So at the moment, Sri Lanka bouncing back from that, and at the moment they are 26 without loss after 7 overs. Pereira 7, Vishmi 8, as they chase that 2-5-4 for victory.
Thanks, Guy. It's the Saturday session. Up next, we're going around the grounds in League One and League Two. afternoon, it's the Saturday session. We're on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard, Micky Gray with you until 5 o'clock this evening. Then we hand over to our team for the Super League Grand Final. Hull KR versus Wigan. Some goals going in across the Football League in League 1 and League 2. Bristol Rovers 0, MK Dons 1. MK Dons taking the lead after 8 minutes after winning each of their last 2 league games. MK Dons looking to win 3 in a row for the first time since a run of 6 between October and December 2024. So Bristol Rovers 0, MK Dons 1. We told you about Reading taking the lead at home to Exeter. Exeter have just equalised. Wareham scoring the goal for Exeter. Jaden Wareham, so Exeter 1, Reading 1. Elsewhere, Shrewsbury 1, Cambridge 0 was the latest score in League 2. Shrewsbury have won just 3 of their last 23 games against Cambridge, but find themselves ahead this afternoon. Shrewsbury 1, Cambridge 0, and Harrogate Town taking the lead away at Fleetwood. They're 1-0 up there, and Grimsby 1 up at home to Colchester in that game. Let's now head, shall we, to Wimbledon versus Port Vale. How's the game started at Plough Lane, Tom Clayton?
It's the 20th minute. AFC Wimbledon 0, Port Vale 0, but it has been the visitors well on top. They've had a number of chances, including one just come off the top of the crossbar from Ryan Crosdale, the midfielder. There's been a couple of chances for him. He's had one headed off the back of the outside of the far post. Then there's also been a shot from the outside of the area from Ben Garrity. Wimbledon just haven't got themselves going today. Every pass seems to be going to a Vale player or into touch. Meanwhile, Vale are having an awful lot of joy at this stage of the game. Back in April this season, Wimbledon conceded, I think it was 3 goals in this fixture, and Vale secured promotion to this division. Wimbledon had to go up through the playoffs later in the campaign, but so far Vale look like the team who are well on top in this game. AFC Wimbledon 0, Port Vale 0.
Doncaster failed to win any of their last 4 league games, last enduring a longer run in December 2023. Today, they're away at Leyton Orient and not off to the best of starts to Neil Condola.
No, they're not. It's Leyton Orient 1, Doncaster 0. Don Ballard's goal after just 60 seconds is still the difference here at Brisbane Road, and Leyton Orient have been by far the better side from the very first whistle. The home fans here at Brisbane Road are in good spirits, and rightly so. Their side have come flying out of the traps. It's no doubt that Aaron Connolly, who got the assist for the goal, is running the show for Leyton Orient. He has been almost unplayable for the home side so far. But as for Doncaster, they did have a half chance just a minute ago as Jay McGrath headed wide from a free kick over from the left-hand side, but the visitors will need to sharpen up if they're going to get anything out of this game, because they have been far too sloppy and far too many passages of play have just watched them go by. 20 minutes gone here at Brisbane Road, where it's still Leyton Orient 1, Doncaster 0.
Stockport Blackpool with talkSPORT 2's live commentary right now, goalless. If you want commentary of that, go over to talkSPORT 2. Let's go down to League 2, Crawley versus Walsall. Walsall top of the table, Crawley struggling in 21st. How's the game started, Will Hobbs?
Yeah, 22 minutes gone nearly. Somehow Crawley 0, Walsall 0. Crawley really should be 1 up, but Harry McCurdy had his early penalty saved by Miles Roberts, who's already made 3 high-quality stops. Antiguan winger Dion Pereira's had 2 good chances, and Shimanga's also got in behind for Crawley as well. Walsall predictably have sat back and looked to pounce. Their star striker Aaron Presley brushed the bar with a casual long-range curler within 2 minutes. Crawley with 85% possession so far, creating plenty, finishing nothing. Walsall living dangerously. Crawley 0, Walsall 0.
Chesterfield Salford's 9th v 6th, 1 point separating the two sides before the game started. Chesterfield unbeaten across their last 12 home league games, and Salford have lost just 2 of their last 12 away league games. Watching for talkSPORT is Alan Biggs.
Well, nothing between them so far, that's for sure. Chesterfield 0, Salford 0, but we have seen one of the most bizarre decisions by a referee I think you'll ever see. It happened in just the second minute, because the incident occurred on the touchline nearest the press box. Had a fairly clear view of a reckless challenge by Kadim Harris of Salford on Tom Naylor. In fact, he appeared to go over the ball. In fact, he was aiming for the ball, I think, with the challenge, brushed the top of the ball and caught Naylor, following which the referee yellow carded Tom Naylor, who was the recipient of that challenge, which was, in my opinion, looking here, yellow and borderline red. Well, no wonder Paul Cook, the Chesterfield manager, was aggrieved. It occurred right in front of him as well. He wasn't reprimanded or booked at the time for his reaction, but a few minutes later he was showed a yellow card, having resolved only recently to never get involved in criticising referees from the touchline again, because he's got a very checkered disciplinary record, already had a ban this season, but I think just on this occasion his irritation was possibly justified. As for chances, just the one, Lee Bonus of Chesterfield volleying narrowly wide. Latest, Chesterfield 0, Salford 0.
To Gillingham v Cheltenham at Priestfield. For talkSPORT's Craig Wakeling.
Yeah, 0 after 24 minutes, and the home side showing dominance, early pressing leading to good chances. A couple from Seb Palmer-Holden back in the starting 11 today, forcing an early one-handed save from the Robins keeper Joe Day, and then having a shot over the bar. Cheltenham struggling to get control of anything, to be honest with you, Sam. Gillingham 0, Cheltenham 0.
And to Stamford Bridge, Chelsea legends v Liverpool legends. Ian Abrahams is there. Boys, my pre-match prediction was some sort of housery from the Chelsea striker Diego Costa. Moose, have we seen an elbow yet, or a dive, or anything like that?
Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. No, we haven't. We have seen him being pushed over, actually, by one of the Liverpool defenders. So that might come back to bite them at some point this afternoon. But we could have had goals. We haven't, though. Liverpool's best chance, Yossi Benayoun, right-hand side of the penalty area, twisting and turning past two defenders, shot from relatively close range, saved by Petr Cech. And then at the other end, Chelsea worked a lovely move inside the penalty area. Hazard onto Solomon Kalou, who's down injured at the moment. He decided not to shoot, passed it to William Gallas. Gallas right-footed again from relatively close range, saw his shot turned away for a corner. By the way, he's got a very grey beard, William Gallas. 22 gone, Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0.
Good stuff. And Moose, I imagine, all jokes aside, it's for charity this. I'm guessing the atmosphere at Stamford Bridge must be pretty special. The players and fans mingling before the game and stuff like that?
Not the players and the fans were mingling before the game, although some players did come over and have their picture taken. Joe Cole came over, so did a couple of Liverpool players. But I think the players are just pleased to see each other again. A lot of them haven't seen each other for many a year. Jermaine Pennant is warming up, I can report. The Sports Bar's very own is... I wouldn't even call it as fast as a jog, but his legs are moving one after the other. So we might see him at some point very soon.
Good stuff. talkSPORT's Jermaine Pennant possibly could come on Micky Gray and could possibly make an impact. He'd love that, wouldn't he? I can imagine Jermaine as well. He'd have had a skin fade last night. He'd have been in the gym. He'd have been tanning himself up. He'd have been ready to go, Micky.
Double substitution. Pennant and Moose.
Pennant and Moose, there we go. Who'd win in a jog, Pennant or Moose, do you reckon?
Well, yeah, I think that one's a no-brainer.
Well, there we go. Jermaine, he's still in good shape. He goes to the gym, Jermaine, so I'm sure he'll be ready to go. England have their first wicket against Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka chasing 254 for victory, and Guy Swindles once again. It's the spin that does the trick for England.
Absolutely right. Charlie Dean with an absolute beauty. Her first ball, the opening delivery of the 10th over. As she floated it up outside off stump, it pitched, it spun, it went through the gate and it knocked off the leg stump bail. Absolutely superb bowling to get rid of Gunaratne for 10. So at the moment we're in the 11th over. Just seen a boundary, decent one off the bowling of Nat Skivabrunt to take the score up to 41 for 1, Sri Lanka. Remember, they're chasing 254 and their skipper and opening bat is also off with a hamstring injury. 37 for 1 in the 11th.
More goals as they go in. Burton leading Bolton by a goal to nil. Jake Beasley scoring a penalty after 27 minutes. And Barnett a one-up away at Tranmere. So this is the Saturday session. And there's been a goal at Leyton Orient for talkSPORT's and Neil Condola.
It's Leyton Orient 2, Doncaster 0. I told you boys that Aaron Connolly is the man to watch this afternoon, and he's only gone and got himself onto the score sheet. Short corner found its way back to Connolly, who curved a gorgeous strike into the bottom right-hand corner. Leyton Orient 2-0 up in front of this buzzing home crowd, and rightly so, because they have been absolutely fantastic. Aaron Connolly on the score sheet after an assist after the first minute as well. What a day for that young man in midfield. It's Leyton Orient 2, Doncaster 0.
Yeah, good stuff. So we'll keep you across all of the action on talkSPORT between now and 5 o'clock. Stockport v Blackpool is live commentary right now in League One on talkSPORT 2. And remember, following us on talkSPORT at 5, the Super League Grand Final, Hull KR, Wigan Warriors, Mark Wilson and Paul Cook. We're going to chat to our team very, very shortly. Following that on talkSPORT, talkSPORT has got live commentary of Dave Allen v Arsenal Bank Makhmudov from Sheffield during a Fight Night Live special. Coverage starts at 8 straight after the rugby. So much live sport happening on the talkSPORT network. Saturday session on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard, Micky Gray with you until 5 o'clock. By the way, international break, not much is happening. What's a load of absolute nonsense? We got football in League 1 and League 2. We got boxing tonight. We got the rugby tonight. We got the cricket on right now. We got the World Grand Prix. Everything's happening, Micky Gray, isn't it?
Love it. Absolutely love it. Can't beat sport.
You can't beat live sport, can you? Talking of live sport, Crawley Walsall. Crawley starting in the afternoon, 21st in the table, taking on Walsall, who started top, and perhaps Will Hobbs, we might have an upset on our hands this afternoon.
I think we might, Sam, because it's Crawley 1, Walsall 0, and Crawley have been dominant. The goal scored in the 30th minute. It was Ryan Loft, the 6'3" giant. I mean, Google says he's 6'3". He's playing like he's 6'7", planting a bullet header across goal after a deliciously bent cross by McCurdy from the left. It's been all Crawley. Walsall have hit the bar in the first minute, but haven't had another shot to trouble the goalkeeper, Wallacott. 33 minutes gone, 21st pace. Crawley lead Walsall by a goal to 0.
Wikipedia does not lie, Will Hobbs. Never doubt Wikipedia. Other scores in League 1, Northampton 1, Rotherham 1, AFC Wimbledon 0, Port Vale 0, Burton 1, Bolton 0, Exeter 1, Reading 1, Leyton Orient 2 up at home to Doncaster. Goal between Stockport and Blackpool. That game is live on talkSPORT 2. Wigan Wickham also goalless. In League 2, if you don't hear your team, it means it's goalless. MK Dons 1 up at Bristol Rovers. As you just heard there, Crawley leading Walsall by a goal to 0. It's now Fleetwood 1, Harrogate Town 1. Grimsby 1 up at home to Colchester. Shrewsbury 1 up at home to Cambridge, and Barnet on their travels to Tranmere lead by a 0-0. Back up and down the country very, very shortly. Let's now talk, though, Steven Gerrard. We had this update from Alex Crook very recently. Steven Gerrard to hold face-to-face talks with Rangers over replacing Russell Martin, talkSPORT understands. As previously reported, Gerrard is a leading candidate, but Rangers sources maintain they will speak to multiple names. Positive remote talks have already taken place, with Gerrard showing an openness to returning to Ibrox, subject to certain conditions. Now, Gerrard spoke to his former England teammate Rio Ferdinand for the Rio Meets podcast this week, and he discussed getting back into management.
I've loved it so far. I'd love another go at some point. I want to change a few things and improve a few things and come back fresh with a few different people around myself. Yeah. I'd love another couple of challenges doing this. And that's what I'm working on in the background at the moment. A few different ideas, a few different people around me. I know where I'm strong, and I know there's areas where I need good support and I need special skill sets to make me better and stronger in terms of my staff and my group. I felt like I had that to a T at Rangers. A lot of coach changes at Aston Villa and over in Saudi that I don't think helped me from a personal point of view. There's a part of me that still feels that there's a bit of unfinished business in terms of wanting to go in and face another couple of exciting challenges, but I want a certain type of challenge. If in an ideal world they come available, I'll jump at them. If they don't, I won't go back in. I want to be at a team that's going to compete to win because I think that suits me better.
Micky, we know Steven Gerrard had success at Rangers. He then came to Aston Villa, didn't last long, didn't go well before then going over to Saudi Arabia for a couple of years. He's been out of work now for a good few months. Do you think, in terms of what's best for Steven Gerrard, the next phase of his managerial career, would this be a good move for him?
Well, yeah, it would be a good move, absolutely. And I think it's a perfect fit for Steven. He hasn't jumped straight back into football. I think in that interview, I think he said he'd had 4 or 5 opportunities to get straight back into it, but he wanted the opportunity to go in somewhere where there's a challenge. Well, if you're looking at Scottish football, there's no bigger challenge than Rangers Football Club right now. I mean, 1 league win they've won this season. And it's not good enough. You see where they are in the league. They're 8th in the league at the moment. They've only scored 6 goals. For a club like that, we shouldn't even be having this conversation, but we are, and there's a reason for that. And the pressure's mounting every single season on whoever walks through the door at Rangers because of the success of Celtic. Now, the last time Steven was there, he stopped the 10 in the row, which was a massive thing for Celtic, and it was a huge thing for Rangers to stop that. He got the job done, he got over the line, they won the league, and that's where we thought, wow, Steven Gerrard's going to be one of the next top managers. And unfortunately for him, for one reason or another, because he talked about coaches there as well, and they are so important. Your number 2 and the people who you work around, who you're with every single day. If you don't get that right, you can't do it all on your own. So I think this is a brilliant opportunity if Steven does eventually take the Rangers job. They love him anyway because of what he achieved. But I think he has to get this one right. Don't think it worked at Aston Villa. It didn't work at Al Ettifaq when he was there for the couple of seasons. It never really felt like a good fit, did it? Him going to Saudi Arabia. Such a young manager, and maybe somebody who, in the back of our minds, we're thinking could be a potential England manager. You know, along with Frank Lampard, who's doing absolutely brilliant now at Coventry City as well. All these ex-players who've got so much to give, and obviously they've got huge experience of playing Premier League football. I know we're talking about Scottish football right now, but Steven needs to get back in, and Rangers, it's a massive club. I've spent a little bit of time. Obviously, I spent some time when I was at Celtic and played against Rangers, so I know how big that rivalry is. And to see Rangers where they are, it's a bit sad, really, because it's just a huge club. I think there's new owners at the club now, so it's going to be a little bit different if Steven does walk through the door. But if he starts winning, they'll absolutely love him again.
And you can look, Micky, at Frank Lampard, who, you know, it didn't go particularly great for him at Everton. Second time round, maybe at Chelsea. It didn't go too well, and people were saying, you know, is he another one of the kind of the, you know, the golden generation who, you know, isn't going to cut it in management? And then he goes to Coventry, and look at them, absolutely flying now, aren't they? The top of the Championship, scoring goals for fun. They lost in the playoffs, didn't they, last season to your lot, Sunderland? So look, you know, it's so important, isn't it, to find that right club where the people above you are working on the same hymn sheet, good recruitment, good people, the football club. And it feels like Frank has found that at Coventry. Everything there, it looks like, from a footballing point of view anyway, is just going in one direction. So I think Steven should look at Frank and what he's done, dropping down to the Championship.
Yeah.
There was no ego there, was there?
No.
He could have said, hey, I'm Frank Lampard. I've played however many times for England. It's got however many Premier League goals. I'm not doing that. But he knew he needed to drop down. And look, he's still got a lot to achieve at Coventry, Frank Lampard. But at the moment, they look good, don't they, to possibly finish in the top 2 in the Championship.
Well, look, I mean, you could have a long conversation about this, really, and how managers kind of peak and then they drop off a little bit and where they find themselves in their career. But, you know, if we quickly talk about Frank there as well, full respect for him, absolutely, because now everybody's looking at Frank, and I think everybody's hoping that Coventry get promoted through Frank. But if it doesn't happen with Frank, I bet there's a lot of Premier League owners are looking at Frank now, and that's where Stephen's got to get back to. I don't think he's in that position now. So if he goes in at Rangers and he gets it right and has let's say a couple of successful seasons, then there's no doubt he'll be starting to peak again. And that's what we want, because we want the best English managers working in the best English football division, which is the Premier League.
And possibly even for Gerrard, given if he goes back into Rangers, given how far behind they are already for Celtic, it almost, is it fair to say, it almost be a bit of a free hit this season for Steven Gerrard, because they have got so much ground to make up on Celtic at the top.
Yeah, well, look, if you remember when Steven went in at Rangers last time, and this is completely off the top of my head, I'm sure they were 10 points behind them, and Steven clawed that back. I'm not too sure if they won the league that season, but they stopped the 10 in a row when Steven was there at Rangers. And if he can do something similar, he's got to go in there, he's got to look at the players and say, right, who can I work with here? If we can do something in January where I can bring in 2 or 3 fresh faces, where it's loanees or whatever it might be, just to bolster that side, then there's no reason why Steven cannot start to climb up that league.
Yeah, if he does go in, we wish him luck, and we'll keep you across any further developments, of course, on talkSPORT in terms of Steven Gerrard going back to Rangers. England looking to make it 3 from 3 at the Cricket World Cup. To do that, they've got to defend 254 against Sri Lanka. Guy Swindells, how are England getting on?
Not bad, but Sri Lanka are now just beginning to accelerate slightly. They're on to 67 for 1 now in the 15th over, chasing that 254. England did grab a wicket. Charlie Dean's superb first delivery to bowl Gunaratne. We also saw the Sri Lankan skipper and opener off with a hamstring injury, but at the moment Pereira and Hashita are batting really well. And it's a good battle between the England spinners and those two. 67 for 1, chasing 254, and we're in the 15th over.
So, Guy, a busy couple of weeks for the England women team as they look to try and go deep in the World Cup, but also a busy few months coming up for the men's team. They went to New Zealand last night. They got some white ball games in New Zealand before obviously going to the Ashes. Just in the papers today, I recommend there's a really good interview, Martin Samuel and Zach Crawley. Crawley opens up why England must front up in the Ashes, enjoying his needle with Gill in India. But also Harry Brooks sees boost in injury to Cummins, but stays wary. Of course, we've learned, haven't we, in the last 24 to 48 hours that the Australia captain, their best bowler, Pat Cummins, could possibly miss certainly at least the start of the Ashes. And I guess, Guy, for England, that's a little bit of a boost, right? Afternoon, Saturday session. We're on talkSPORT. It's Sam Ellard, Micky Gray with you until 5 o'clock. Earlier, Micky, at the top of this hour, we were speaking about Anthony Taylor, weren't we?
Yes.
The referee who's come out and spoken about receiving some awful abuse after the Europa League final in 2023, how he hasn't taken his family back to a game since there. His family was with him for that final. We got some awful abuse going through the airport trying to get home. Referee... something's happened with the referee in the Chesterfield-Salford game, Alan Biggs. Am I right in saying the referee's just walked off the pitch here? What's happened?
Yeah, he did. He walked off the field in the 43rd minute. We're still playing in the first half. Just Chesterfield 0, Salford now. We're in stoppage time, which is going to be considerable, largely because Oliver Mackey, the referee, walked off the field. There was no sign of an injury. I'm at first being flippant. I thought maybe he needed the loo, but this was the 43rd minute. He'd only got a couple of minutes to wait till half time. There was no explanation, no announcement to the crowd. Players on the field chatting to each other, not sure what was happening. The managers, Paul Cook and Carl Robinson, equally mystified. And then Sam Wesson, the fourth official, appeared on the field to take control. Now, you know, if there was an injury, I could understand it. The referee in question, Oliver Mackey, has been certainly at the centre of, shall I say, I was going to use the word abuse, but certainly barracked a lot in this first half. Partly, I would say, self-inflicted, because he's made some very questionable decisions. I referred to one earlier, a mystifying yellow card for a Chesterfield player in the second minute, a Chesterfield player who was on the receiving end of a pretty reckless challenge, and the aggressor escaped altogether. So that was just one instance. Paul Cook, the Chesterfield manager, was booked shortly after that, but there will be an explanation, I am sure. But it was a mystery for all concerned for, as I say, all of those 3 minutes. I did see many years ago a referee walk off having been barracked a lot. That was in a then Premier League game between Barnsley and Liverpool. I never thought that I'd see something similar again. Yeah, well,
Chesterfield have just tweeted after a delay in play, referee Oliver Mackey has gone off injured and will be replaced by the fourth official, Biggsy. So that's what Chesterfield have just put out on social media.
Yeah, there was no apparent injury that I could see. He was moving around quite freely. He walked off the field, yeah.
Well, look, if you hear anything, try and find out on the at half-time if you can, and keep us posted on that one. So,
we'll do, yeah.
We'll wait for half-time then in that game after a delay in play, Oliver Mackey has gone off. According to the Chesterfield social media page, they say he has gone off injured, but I'm sure Alan Biggers can find out more for us. Let's now go around the grounds. We start in League One. Wimbledon v Port Vale at Plough Lane with Tom Clayton.
Half-time, it's AFC Wimbledon 0, Port Vale 0. The visitors certainly started the game stronger and peppered the Dons' goals with chances, particularly from Crowsdale, who hit the crossbar, and Garrity, who was just wide. The hosts woke up after half an hour and looked a little brighter. Nathan Asimwe was a spark down the Wimbledon left and caused all sorts of problems, but the home side couldn't produce a notable chance on goal. A late chance for Vale midfielder Ben Garrity was blocked. It's a good game, this, for a 0-0. These two in their history have never played out a goalless draw. I might have just jinxed that one. Half-time in South London is AFC Wimbledon 0, Port Vale 0.
To Brisbane Road, Leyton Orient Doncaster. talkSPORT's Anil Condola.
Where it's Leyton Orient 2, Doncaster 0, and considering the fact that Orient are currently sat in 18th, you would think that League One table is lying to you, because they have been excellent here this afternoon at Brisbane Road. Don Ballard opened the score after just a minute on the clock, and Aaron Connolly, who got the assist for that first, fancied a bit of the action himself as he doubled Orient's lead after 27 minutes. Connolly has grabbed this game by the scruff of the neck, and he has quite simply ran the show this afternoon. Orient did actually nearly add a third, and yet again it was Connolly at the heart of everything for the home side. As the ball found its way to him on the edge of the box, he pirouetted beautifully past the Doncaster defender, but his shot went narrowly wide. Don Ballard also had a chance to double his goal tally this afternoon, but a smart save from Ian Lawler has just about kept Doncaster in this game. Orient are fully deserving of their lead here at Brisbane Road, but as Jason Cundy often says, 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline in football. Will he be right once again? We will find out shortly, but at the break, it's Leyton Orient 1, Doncaster 0.
Elsewhere in League One, Northampton Rotherham to 2:00 o'clock game. So coming towards the end of that game, Rotherham just scored what looks like a late winner. Northampton 1, Rotherham 2. Northampton have won just one of their last 11 league games against Rotherham. That treacherous record looks set to continue. Northampton 1, Rotherham 2, 92 minutes gone in that game as Burton 1, Bolton 0. Bolton have won just one of their 6 away games against Burton. Exeter 1, Reading 1. Reading took the lead early in that game. Exeter equalising. Reading have lost just one of their last 7 games against Exeter and are unbeaten in each of their previous 4. Elsewhere in League One, Stockport 0, Blackpool 0. That game live commentary on talkSPORT 2. Stockport starting the day just outside the playoffs in 7th place. Only Birmingham have won more league games in England's top 4 tiers in 2025 than Stockport, and with just 8 points through their opening 11 League One games this season, Blackpool have made their worst start to a third-tier campaign since 2006. It's Stockport 0, Blackpool 0 at half-time, and Wigan 0, Wycombe 1. A tough start to the season for Wycombe. They are 20th in the table. They've won just 2 of their last 3 games away at Wigan and look set to do it perhaps again this afternoon. Wycombe 1 up at Wigan. Let's now go down to League 2. Crawley Walsall in front of talkSPORT's Will Hobbs.
Thank you, Sam. Crawley 1, Walsall 0. The team who lie 20th in League 2 have been all over the league leaders in the West Sussex Sunshine. The aptly named striker Ryan Loft with the only goal, slamming a header across the goalkeeper thanks to an artistically shaped Harry McCurdy cross. The original Red Devils should have led after 5 minutes, but McCurdy had a penalty saved brilliantly down to his left by Miles Roberts, who made 3 sharp ones in quick succession early doors. Walsall, as they regularly do, have played exclusively on the break. They've had 19% possession, but apart from Aaron Presley skimming the bar in the 2nd minute and 1 Courtney Clark shot, keeper Joe Wallacott has largely been a spectator. At half-time at Broadfield, it's Crawley 1, Walsall 0.
Gillingham-Cheltenham, half-time for talkSPORT's Craig Wakeling.
Gillingham 0, Cheltenham 0. We're all shocked as to how we've not seen at least 1 goal. Gillingham dominating the first 45 minutes. Chance after chance, either saved, over or wide, but dominant they have been. Robins goalkeeper Joe Day being kept on his toes since a save from Seb Palmer-Holden's volley in the first minute. Then Isaac Hutchinson found himself in the area on the penalty spot. All the time in the world, no one around him. He shoots and hits the post. Incredible. Came so close to breaking the deadlock. Something to excite the travelling Robins fans, and those chances have been very few and far between, who on the balance will be wondering A, how they're level pegging, and B, not ahead both at the same time. Extraordinary. It's half-time. Gillingham 0, Cheltenham 0.
Other half-times in League 2, Accrington 0, Newport 1, with just 5 points from their opening 11 games this season. Newport have made their worst start to a Football League campaign since the 87 season. Bristol Rovers 0, MK Dons 1. Bristol Rovers have won each of their last 3 home games and we're looking to take victory in 4 in succession for the first time since 2022. Back in April, work to do though in the second half if they are to do that. It's Crewe 0, Bromley 0, Fleetwood 1, Harrogate 1. Fleetwood have won just one of their last 14 league games against sides from Yorkshire. Gillingham 0, Cheltenham 0, as Craig Wakeling was just telling you there. Grimsby, who start the day 3rd in the table, 1-1 at half-time against Colchester. Grimsby have picked up 21 points from their opening 11 league games this season, their most at this stage of a Football League campaign since 2005. Shrewsbury are 2-0 up at home to Cambridge. Cambridge just outside the playoffs. They're unbeaten across their last 4 league games, but they're behind 2-0 away at Shrewsbury this afternoon, and Tranmere 0, Barnet 2 after winning 5 of their 6 home league games between March and August. Tranmere since winless across their last 4 and a 2-0 down at home to Barnet this afternoon. One more game in League 2 is a 5:30 kickoff. Oldham v Barrow. Should we go back to Stamford Bridge? Chelsea legends versus Liverpool legends. Ian Abrahams, what's the score? And most importantly, who's standing out for you this afternoon? Who's still got it?
Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. It's been a decent first half, but just missing a goal or two. Eden Hazard's being cheered to the rafters. 2 best chances. Petr saved from close range after good work inside the penalty area on the right-hand side from Yossi Benayoun. And then really, we should have had a better effort than William Gallas is from around 6 yards out, left corner of the area, which was pretty easy for Pepe Reina to smuggle around the post. The most important stat, though, right on half-time, after biddering and badgering him all first half, Diego Costa finally got a yellow card for pushing over Martin Skirtle. Those two resume battle in a couple of minutes' time. At the break, Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0.
I tell you what, Costa up against Skirtle. I remember a League Cup tie, League Cup semi-final back in 2012. Chelsea-Liverpool 2 legs. And I remember Costa and Skirtle going at it all evening long in a semi-final. So the fact that those two are at it, I bet they've had a cheeky little wink, Mickey, before the game started. They're going to go at it for 90 minutes and then probably have maybe a beer or a soft drink after the game.
Yeah, I don't think me and you are getting in the middle of that one, Sam, are we? Just going, right, you carry on, lads.
I'm going to sit here and go nowhere near the two of them because, Costa and Skirtle reunited. There we go. To the cricket, Sri Lanka 89 for 1 from 18, chasing 254 against England. England looking to go 3 wins from 3. Guy Swindles is reporting on that game for talkSPORT. But, Guy, I just wanted to ask you about the men's side of things because last night they went off to New Zealand. They got some white ball games against New Zealand. Then they go to Australia. And I guess really the big news in the world of cricket this week is the Pat Cummins, the Australia captain, their best bowler, has an injury, a lower back stress injury. We're not 100% certain how much of the Ashes he's going to miss, but we believe he's going to miss, at the very least, some of it.
Which would be a big plus as far as England are concerned. One, his captaincy, and two, his bowling. I was half waiting for an advert there, but it didn't come.
No,
so
you know what, Jack's redeemed himself. Oh, I actually thought for a second he was being serious there. I thought he's thinking, Guy Swindles, don't take the mick out of me, my friend.
But yeah, you're absolutely right, Sam. It's going to be a chance for England to lay down some sort of marker early in the Ashes, and that's important, as we've seen in the Ashes. If you start badly, it tends to get worse. If you start well, then you've got something to build on.
I tell you what, Guy. I can't believe we had to wait 10 minutes for that answer. What was Jack Caton doing? Guy, back with you throughout the course of the afternoon for England versus Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka 90 for 1 into the 19th, chasing 254. Up next, we're into the final hour of the Saturday session. Back around the grounds in League One and League Two. We're going to head over to the Super League Grand Final, chat to our team, Paul Cook and Mark Wilson, ahead of Wigan v Hull KR, and with Micky Gray in the studio. We better talk all things Sunderland. Sunderland legend, of course, off to a pretty decent start back in the Premier League.
Let's be honest, we've all found ourselves raging at a referee's decision at some stage. This feel familiar?
That is an absolutely shocking decision.
They've got a case in that it was a bad decision.
It's such a poor decision.
Yeah, I think he's just made a bad decision in that instance.
But what does it take to get to the very top of football refereeing? Every referee starts with their county FA. It's a simple training course and you can take it as soon as you hit your 14th birthday. Once you've done that, you have to go through at least 11 hours of face-to-face training. You'll then graduate as a Level 7 official, which means you can take charge of county-level games. But hold your horses, there's still a long way to go to get to the Premier League. Your next step is to spend a year each at Levels 6, 5 and 4. This covers the top of the amateur game. Only at Level 3 do you start doing Northern Counties or Isthmian League level games, for example. If you've done this all quickly, you can reach Level 2 and ref your first National League match after, I don't know, 6 years? After getting enough experience at that level, you can apply to be a referee in the EFL. There's an interview, people watching you do games, and then, if the EFL are happy, you'll be granted a Level 1 licence to ref in games in League 2 and above. Now, they don't just say on you go to the Premier League, you have to work your way up through the divisions. Only after years of hard work and refereeing on cold Tuesday nights in Stoke can you be considered to do matches in some of Europe's very best stadiums. Now, who was the youngest to reach the very top? It was actually Michael Oliver. He refed his first Premier League match in 2010 at the tender age of just 25. So if you want to follow in his footsteps, crack on. It'll only take you roughly a decade, thousands of hours of work and an incredibly thick skin. In total, there are 37,000 registered referees across England, but the PGMOL has only deemed 21 good enough for the top flight. That means there's not even a 1 in 1,000 chance you'll even make it in. Obviously, referees can make mistakes, but
days of the season go. This is the perfect one. It's finished at the Stadium Malay. Sunderland 3, West Ham 0.
In this league, I think you can't make the mistake to feel that it's done. You always have to start from the beginning.
It's an incredible start. You have to give huge credit to what Reggie Labrie has done at Sunderland.
It is Sunderland 2, Brentford 1, Wilson Isidore.
I'm quite worried about Sunday, Sunderland away.
Brilliant goal as well. Sunderland 1, Aston Villa 1, Wilson Isidore.
Nottingham Forest 0, Sunderland 1. Sunderland are sitting in the Champions League places.
I think, they're almost in a bit of dreamland, aren't they, the way they've started.
Full-time at Old Trafford, Manchester United 2, Sunderland 0.
It's a reality check. If they'd have got another win here, they'd have started to get really comfortable, a little bit complacent.
You need to refine through positive and negative experiences, and I'm sure this one will be positive for the future.
Good afternoon, Saturday session. We're live on the world's biggest sports radio station, talkSPORT. It's Sam Ellard, Sunderland legend Micky Gray with you for another hour until 5 o'clock. We are talking all things Sunderland with Micky very shortly. Just a reminder right now on talkSPORT 2 in League 1, live commentary of Stockport versus Blackpool. That's goalless. We're going around the grounds very shortly in League 1 and League 2. About to get underway in the second half of those games. Updates throughout the second half. At 5 o'clock on talkSPORT, build up to the Super League Grand Final. Hull KR v Wigan. Hull KR looking to win it for the first time. Wigan looking to go 3 in a row. We're chatting to Mark Wilson, Paul Cook very shortly. And then talkSPORT has live commentary of Dave Allen versus Arsenal Bank Makhmudov from Sheffield during a Fight Night Live special. Coverage starts at 8 straight after the rugby. So plenty going on this Saturday on the talkSPORT network. In fact, plenty going on right now at Brisbane Road. talkSPORT's Anil Kondola.
where it's Leyton Orient 3, Doncaster 0. Don Ballard not only with his second goal of the afternoon, but also his 5th goal of the season. My oh my, it does not get much better for Doncaster. A real poor bit of defending. The ball's come far over the defence. The goalkeeper's been caught in no man's land, and there he was once again, Don Ballard, to get another goal, another early goal at the start of this second half. It's 3-0 to Leyton Orient. They're looking very good for their lead, and dare I say it, the points, barring a miracle, should be safe. Here, it's 3-0 to Leyton Orient.
Elsewhere, Burton have lost each of their last 3 home league games without scoring, but they're going well this afternoon in League One. Burton 2, Bolton 0. Will bring you the goals as they go in on talkSPORT. But Micky, let's talk about your beloved Sunderland. Of course, promotion last season from the Championship to the Premier League, and I think it's fair to say so far so good. 9th in the table, played 7, 3 wins already this season. You must have been pretty happy with what you've seen so far from your former side.
100%. I don't think anybody expected it. I've got to be completely honest with you, because we kind of jumped into the Premier League after the back-to-back performances against Coventry, where I thought Coventry were excellent in both of the games, but we went to the Stadium of Light. We covered it that day. I think Troy Deeney was there for talkSPORT alongside, I think, Jim Proudfoot and Adrian Derham. And the atmosphere, I've never, ever heard atmosphere like that in the stadium. It was absolutely incredible. And then even going to the final itself against Sheffield United, I mean, Sheffield United were the better side for 75 minutes.
Yeah.
But they got there, and then everybody looked at Sunderland's squad, and not one of the starting 11 for Sunderland had one Premier League game experience. So something needed a change in the summer. It did. 14 fresh faces came through the door, and a lot of players, Sam, that we didn't know. We didn't know who they are. The only one really was Granit Xhaka, who came in. He's got the Premier League experience, obviously, under Arsenal. He went away to Leverkusen. He was successful there, came back. He's been the cog. He's been absolutely fantastic. He really has. He got the captain's armband, but then they've got this youthfulness around them, and Siddiqui and Diarra in midfield when they're both fit. I mean, 2 fantastic players. You look at the back, Mukiele and Alderete, who came into the side, the 2 centre-halves. The only one really left is Trey Hume. And I know he scored for Northern Ireland, I think, the other day in their 2-0 victory, which is absolutely brilliant. He's been outstanding, but the way they play, the way they press, and the way they approach games since the West Ham game, the first day of the season, they've been absolutely top class. And I think everybody's on the same page to say, look, it's not going to be like that every single week. We're going to lose games. But where they are, the position they're in, and some of the performances, they've been absolutely brilliant. It's down to the manager, the recruitment, the players that have come through the door, and they've all bought into the Premier League, and they've grabbed it with 2 hands.
Home form, beating West Ham, beating Brentford, a point with Villa. There was also a really good away win in there as well, we should say, of course, away at Forest. But for any promoted side that comes up, the home form is so important. Does it feel like, as cliche as it sounds, that the Stadium of Light, really is the 12th man for the Sunderland team? And those are the games, Sunderland got to win in. Next up after the international break is Wolves at home, and they'll be looking at that thinking, these are the games we've got to pick up the 3 points against the sides at home who are most likely to be bottom half teams. That'll keep Sunderland up.
Well, I think what we don't want is a scenario what we've had for the last 2 seasons.
Definitely.
Is the Championship side getting promoted and then getting relegated straight away. And I think the 3 sides that have actually come up, albeit Burnley's results haven't been
tough
brilliant.
fixtures though.
Yeah, but they've played well in the games. I was at Old Trafford when they played against Manchester United, and they could have easily got something from that. Liverpool game could have hung on and got a 0-0 draw in that game. It was the late goal. So Scott Parker's doing something right, and it will turn around for them. But if I go back to when we got promoted with Peter Reid, 99-2000, and we had 2 seasons where we finished 7th and 7th, Peter Reid kind of said to us, right, this is how we're going to kind of like box 4 or 5 games off. And this is the amount of points that we can achieve in these type of boxes. And at the start of the season, he said to us, give ourselves a platform of having points on the board and knowing that, we might go into a game that we're expected to win, but we don't win. So then we can kind of fall back on what the points we already have. And we looked at it that way, but we went into games with absolutely no fear. And when I watch Sunderland play right now, it's got that feel about it. There's no fear there with the players. They're all enjoying themselves. They're going out to express themselves, albeit it's organised. But when they get into the final third, I think Regis Labrie is saying to the players, go and express yourself. Go and do what I see you do on a daily basis on the training ground, but go and do it in the Premier League. And the Sunderland supporters, they've all bought into it, and they are having an absolute Well, they're having an amazing time. And I look at Leeds and Burnley the same, but it's key what you mentioned there as well. I think home form is absolutely massive. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say Sunderland by the end of the season are not going to be in a relegation fight. I'm not that silly to do that. And I think Leeds United and Burnley will be down there as well. But you mentioned Wolves, West Ham. I don't know what you're going to get from Brentford on a week basis. There's going to be other sides that are going to be down at the bottom of the table, which is better than what we've had for the last 2 seasons. But what I've seen so far from Sunderland, absolutely top class.
Lots of players came in the summer, but just how important was the signing of Granit Xhaka? How important is he to this side? Not just in terms of his quality. We know he's a great player. But that experience, you think, is going to be crucial for Sunderland?
Communication, experience, leadership. Going back to that West Ham game, and I know it was the first day of the season, everybody wants to impress, everybody wants to do something a little bit special in that game. And you could just sense every time the ball went to Granit Xhaka, he calmed everybody down. He didn't rush his passes, he just slowed things down. If the tempo needed rising a little bit, he was the one who kind of dictated that. And he's been better than I thought. I knew he'd be good. Everybody questioned, well, what about his discipline? Sunderland can't play Premier League games with 10 men every single week. Well, his discipline's been really good. He's got the captain's armband. He's playing as a leader. And I think all the younger players are kind of reacting and bouncing off that. And it's been great to watch.
Will they stay up, Micky?
I think they will. I really do. I think they're going to get enough. The big thing for me is the AFCON, which is through December and January. They've got 9, maybe possible 10 players that might go to the AFCON. That's going to be a huge stern test, that, depending on how many games Sunderland have to play without their so-called best 11. And if they can get through that period, they're going to give themselves a real good chance.
Sunderland looking to stay up in League 2. Walsall looking to go up. They started the afternoon top of the table, and they're back on level terms at Crawley. Will Hobbs?
They are indeed. Crawley 1, Walsall 1. Connor Barrett with the goal on 53 minutes. He's been a surging force for the league leaders on the right. Their only bright spark in the first half, and he's banged a worldie. Edge of the box, dropped his shoulder, charged inside, left-footed, drove a fizzing low one into the bottom corner. Walsall back in it after Crawley dominated the first half. Crawley 1, Walsall 1.
And Guy Swindle, Sophie Eccleston is just doing Sophie Eccleston things, isn't she?
Oh, she really is. She's really turned this game on its head. Sri Lanka were going really, really nicely, but she's grabbed 2 wickets in no time at all. She now has just got 1 more ball to bowl for her 3rd over, and she'll have figures of 3 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 2 if it carries on like this. Her most recent wicket, she managed to draw the false shot from Sarah Wikrama, who tried to sweep her, got a little top edge, and Lauren Bell took a good catch at short fine leg, and she had gone for a fine 33. That's brought back in the Sri Lankan skipper, Chamari Atapatu, who had to go off earlier with a hamstring injury. She looks as if she's moving moderately comfortably at the moment, so she's resuming on 7. Kavisha has 1, and England, well, thanks to Eccleston, now have Sri Lanka in a spot of bother. 98 for 3 after 23 overs. They need another 156 from 27 overs.
Cheers, guys. We've got 6 games in League 1. We've got 11 games in League 2. Up next on the Saturday session, we're going around the grounds. Good afternoon, it's the Saturday session. We're on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard, Micky Gray with you until 5 o'clock this evening. Time now, though, to check in with the reporters up and down the country in League One and League Two. We start at Brisbane Road. Leyton Orient taking on Doncaster. Leyton Orient starting today 18th in the table against Doncaster, who started the day 10th. Doncaster have failed to win any of their last 4 league games, and Daniil Kondola looks like that bad run is set to continue.
It is indeed. It's Leyton Orient 3, Doncaster 0. 6 points separated these two sides before today, but that will almost certainly be halved after the full-time whistle. 2 goals from Don Ballard and a goal from Aaron Connolly, the difference so far, and Orient have been comfortable from the get-go. 1 or 2 chances for Doncaster in the first half, but the home side have fought for every ball and are fully deserving of their 3-goal advantage. It's quite simple. Doncaster have not been at the races and have failed to make any real impact all afternoon. Aaron Connolly, however, who I've mentioned, is showing that Premier League experience he gained at Brighton and is showing real class. He's dictated play and he's been simply too good for Rovers. No Premier League this weekend, no problem, because Leyton Orient are putting on a top-flight performance. An hour gone here at Brisbane Road, where it's Leyton Orient 3, Doncaster 0.
To Plough Lane, Wimbledon v Port Vale in front of talkSPORT's Tom Clayton.
Yeah, 61 minutes on the clock here. AFC Wimbledon 0, Port Vale 0. There's been a definite uptick in quality in the second half, especially from the hosts, who had a couple of early chances in this half. Reeves put a free kick just over the top of the crossbar, but Giles just had a shot that's been saved as well. There was a period of time where Port Vale were in the ascendancy and looked like they might have been scoring as they're coming on the attack. Now it's well defended, though, by the Wimbledon defenders, and it's been won back in the penalty area now and just about cleared away. Goodness gracious me. Wow, plenty of action here in the second half. No goals yet, though. Two sides that look like they don't want to keep it goalless, which is fair enough. AFC Wimbledon 0, Port Vale 0.
Full-time in League One, Rotherham started the day 22nd in the table. They left it late, but they won 2-1 away at Northampton. These are latest scores. Burton 2, Bolton 0. Burton starting the day 21st in the table against the Bolton side just outside the playoffs. Still Exeter 1, Reading 1, just 2 places separating those two sides in the table. What else have we got? We've got the league, the commentary on talkSPORT 2. Stockport 0, Blackpool 0. No goals in that game yet. If you want to catch the final half an hour of that, live commentary on talkSPORT 2. Stockport 0, Blackpool 0, and it's Wigan 0, Wycombe 1. This will be a big victory for a Wycombe side who started the afternoon 20th in the table, though have won 2 of their last 3 league games against Wigan, and they look set to carry on their decent record away at Wigan this afternoon. Let's now go into League 2. Crawley versus Walsall. Walsall starting the day top of the table. Can they find a winner, Woolhops?
An hour gone, Crawley 1, Walsall 0. Maybe it's turning into a crackler here at Broadfield. Walsall's Connor Barrett with a stunning equaliser a few minutes ago. A left-footed low pile driver getting them back into the game in hair-raising fashion. That was after Ryan Loft opened the scoring for Crawley in the first half. Now it's end-to-end. It's hammer and tongs. It's full feet to the fire. Pereira surged down the right as he's done all game. McCurdy was denied brilliantly at point-blank range by Roberts and then saved acrobatically again from the rebound from Loft. Carnu producing a wonderful save at the other end. The game is surging here at Crawley. They are 1-1 with Walsall.
Chesterfield Salford watching is talkSPORT's Alan Biggs.
It's still Chesterfield 0, Salford 0. It's a good job we had that talking point of referee Oliver Micky mysteriously leaving the field just before half-time. No wonder it produced the biggest cheer, because we've only had 1 shot on target and neither goalkeepers had a save to make. Just to clear up on the officials, Micky was said to be injured, but there was no visible sign of that. And after his poor first half performance, I heard some quipping that he'd sent himself off. Well, whatever the explanation, it certainly hasn't been his day, and with the reaction of the crowd and the benches, he certainly knew it. Fourth official Sam Wesson is in charge. It's a war of attrition, nothing is giving. Chesterfield marginally the likelier to break through. Remains Chesterfield 0, Salford City 0.
Gillingham-Cheltenham. Gillingham starting the afternoon 4th in the table. Cheltenham 22nd. No side has conceded more goals in League 2 this season than Cheltenham. But Craig Wakeling, so far this afternoon, they're making it hard work for Gillingham.
Yeah, they are. It's 0-0 after 67 minutes. As it stands, Cheltenham heading back to the bottom of the Football League. They've offered even less in this half than they did in the first, and that's an achievement in itself. No surprises that the Robins are the first to make a couple of changes. Gillingham just about to start to show the dominance they so did in the first 45 minutes. Johnny Williams nearly scoring straight from a corner. Joe Day getting a hand to that one. It won't be a surprise if they score soon. They have to, surely. 68 minutes gone. It's Gillingham 0, Cheltenham 0.
Other scores in League Two, Newport leading Accrington by a goal to nil. Newport starting the day bottom of the table. Bristol Rovers 0, MK Dons 1. MK Dons looking to get into the playoffs. Crewe 0, Bromley 1, Fleetwood 1, Harrogate 2. Colchester just taking the lead away at Grimsby. Grimsby 1, Colchester 2. Shrewsbury 2 up at home to Cambridge, going along nicely. Barnet on their travels, making that long journey up the Tranmere. So far so good. 68 gone there, 2 up. The 5:30 game in League Two is Oldham versus Barrow, and Micky Gray has punched the air because your beloved Stockport have taken the lead, Micky.
Yeah, they have. Olawo's got the header. I just seen a clip of it on the TV, just out the corner of my eye there, which is absolutely fantastic. I think they're up to 4th if they can hang on against Blackpool, who obviously they're doing very well away at Edgeley Park, but that's a big result if they can hold on to that, Stockport.
Yeah, Stockport 1 up then, home to Blackpool. Blackpool could lose on successive Football League trips to Stockport County for the first time since April 1995. If you want the conclusion of that game, talkSPORT 2 is the place to be. Now, I don't know about you, Micky, but when I think of, charity games, legends going back, old familiar faces, I want to see goals.
Yeah.
You want to see silky goals. You want to see some fun. talkSPORT's Ian Abrahams. Is there any danger of a goal at Stamford Bridge?
We're getting closer. It's Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. We're inside the final quarter of an hour. Diego Costa's just got one past the post. There's a lovely Chelsea move a couple of minutes ago. Eden Hazard, right-hand side. Ball played into him by Thiago. Beautiful dummy. Took the 1-2 inside the box. Sander Westerveld, we heard from before the game, made a very good save from close range. And then the moment I really dreaded, a great ball down the right-hand side. Jermaine Pennant got onto the end of it for Liverpool. Swung in what was a lovely low ball, begging to be put in the back of net. Mark Gonzalez arriving on a half volley, couldn't oblige, but if Jermaine Dependent had got an assist there, we would never have stopped hearing about it. Inside the last quarter of an hour, as the ball's chested down by John Terry and just flicked onto the top of the crossbar by Jody Morris, it remains Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0.
Yeah, Moose, is it for the sake of our whole talkSPORT audience, we need Pennant watch. We need all eyes on Jermaine Pennant because, he's going to come in whenever he's on next week. I know Jermaine. He's going to say he was this, he was that. You need your eyes on the ground.
But he came on at half time and he kind of, I think, wanted to take up a false 9 role. But when Tash Dowie came on, he was dispatched very quickly out to the right wing, where he has been out largely just grazing, I would say, for 20 minutes, apart from that one run and ball in, which did look dangerous. If I was Liverpool, I'd give him the ball again, actually, see if he could do it again. But maybe if someone better than Mark Gonzalez on the end of it.
That's a bit harsh for Mark Gonzalez, isn't it, Moose?
Do you know what? When the team sheet came out, I didn't even know who Mark Gonzalez was. I mean, his 35 games at Liverpool didn't really cross my radar massively, I have to say.
So you won't be chasing him down then for a post-match interview?
No, I think there's about 12 other Liverpool legends I'll go for first. But Diego Costa's still on the pitch, still with his yellow card, and Pennant's just done a little ball back to Tash. I tell you what, he's getting involved a little bit more now. And Jason McAteer's come on as well. He's looking a bit grey these days.
Okay.
Still 0-0.
Okay, are you looking grey these days, Moose, or are you still all good up there? How are you going?
Unlike Micky Gray, I don't dye my hair.
Micky, would you like to come back there?
Them peroxide days are well gone, Moose.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're well gone.
that big applause, by the way, is for your response. It was Eden Hazard coming up.
You need to have a word with the referee, Moose. You need to have a word.
I thought that was for your latest update, Moose. People were just in awe of the wonderful two-way between Micky Gray and Ian Abrahams.
No, it's more Eden Hazard. By the way, he's been the one that he would die to see score a goal here. Joe Cole's also on the pitch, so I think he's a close second.
Moose, back to you very, very shortly. We can't have a charity game, can we, between two legends ending goalless?
No.
Chesterfield are unbeaten across their last 12 home league games, and it looks like that brilliant record, Alan Biggs, looks set to continue this afternoon.
Well, yeah, we've had a goal, a miracle of miracles, because I didn't think we were going to get one here. Chesterfield 1, Salford 0, but predictably it was an own goal. You won't be surprised to hear, after so few attempts on target, Ollie Turton will get the dubious credit for turning the ball into his own net, but credit to Chesterfield for a corner swung to the far post, and there was a good climb and a powerful header across goal from Che Dunkley, and the pressure of that going into the danger zone forced the error from Turton. Looking at the other end now, a corner for Salford as Chesterfield have some defending to do. So 65 minutes gone here. It is Chesterfield 1, Salford 0.
Back to the cricket. England batting first against Sri Lanka, 253 for 9. I'm sorry, guys, Swindles, I don't want to do your job for you, but I really want to read these numbers out. Sophie Eccleston, 3 wickets, 4 runs from 5 overs. I mean, she's that good. It's almost not fair, is it?
It's completely changed this match. She came on. England's other spinners had looked quite useful, but Sri Lanka were in control. They found themselves at 95 for 1, going very nicely, hoping their skipper would be fit enough to come back on. And now, as you rightly say, they're 109 for 4, entirely thanks to Sophie Eccleston with those ridiculous figures. There are 3 maidens in those 5 overs, 3 for 4. She's become the leading wicket taker in the World Cup with those 3 wickets, and at the moment pegging Sri Lanka back like this, keeping the run rate so low, is putting real pressure on Sri Lanka. The required run rate is now up to 6.35 as they chase that 254. They're 109 for 4 in the 28th over. Sophie Eccleston the difference.
Cheers, Guy. Fleetwood just equalised against Harrogate Town. Fleetwood 2, Harrogate Down 2. So as we approach the final 15 minutes of our games in League 1 and League 2, a reminder, Stockport leading Blackpool by a goal to 0. Live commentary of that on talkSPORT 2 will keep you across the games here on talkSPORT. And again, a reminder, when we're done on the Saturday session at 5, we build up to the Super League Grand Final. Hull KR v Wigan, and then Dave Allen is in action in the world of boxing following that. So much to look forward to. We're looking ahead to the Super League Grand Final very, very shortly. And also, we want to pay tribute to John Pickford, who broke a very special record a couple of nights ago. Saturday session on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard, Micky Gray with you until 5 o'clock. We're heading to Old Trafford very shortly to look ahead to the Super League Grand Final. But first, Anil Kondola, what an afternoon for Leyton Orient.
What an afternoon indeed. It's Leyton Orient 4, Doncaster 0, and it's time for Dom Ballard to take a bow as he scores his hat-trick goal. Do you know what, Sam? I must sound like a broken record because yet again, Aaron Connolly, he secures another assist this afternoon after carrying the ball from the halfway line. He skips past 2 Doncaster defenders and he rolls a ball across the box, which was every striker's dream. And there, of course, was Ballard to secure his 6th goal of the season. Orient are oozing class, and Doncaster, well, they've been dreadful. Just under 15 minutes to go here at Brisbane Road, where it's Leyton Orient 4, Doncaster 0.
You're right to mention Aaron Connolly. No player in League One this season has recorded more shots or shots on target than Leyton Orient's Aaron Connolly. He has scored in each of his last 2 league games, though has never scored in 3 in a row during his career to date. That no longer stands on the score sheet earlier on this afternoon. The deadlock broken at Plough Lane. Wimbledon Port Vale, Tom Clayton.
It is indeed. AFC Wimbledon 1, Port Vale 0. It's the second half substitute, Antoine Hackford, who's got the goal. It was a comedy of errors at the back from Port Vale, and it was just fallen so kindly to the substitute, who can just take the ball down in the penalty area, turn and fire into the bottom right-hand corner. And it's Hackford on the ball once again. It's a free kick on the edge of the area. No, it's not quite indeed. This one certainly come alive in the second half. AFC Wimbledon been much the better side than they were in the first half. AFC Wimbledon 1, Port Vale 0.
Fleetwood Town have regained the lead at home to Harrogate Town. Fleetwood 3, Harrogate 2. We've got around 10 or so minutes to go in the games in League 1 and League 2. We'll bring you full times before we're done at 5 o'clock. When we're done at 5 o'clock, Micky Gray, it is the small matter, the big matter. Of course it is. The Super League Grand Final at Old Trafford from 5. Commentary at 6, where 2 familiar foes will contest the showpiece event of the Super League season. But this year, possibly it could be a very different tale. Wigan Warriors, the 2024 victors, face Hull KR in Saturday's grand final for the second time in as many years. Just 12 months ago, it was the Cherry and Whites who sealed the victory in a nervy final under the lights at Old Trafford. Back-to-back wins, capping off a historic quadruple. In 2025, it is the Robins, though, who stand on the verge of sporting greatness as they target a trio of trophies of their own. Hull KR have another chance to win their first ever grand final, and in doing so will join the big four of Wigan, St Helens, Bradford and Leeds. The last team to win their first ever Super League grand final was St Helens back in 1999. That's the last time a side won it for the very first time. So what an afternoon it could be for Hull KR. Delighted to say Mark Wilson, Paul Cook are joining us live now on the Saturday session. Gents, a very good afternoon. It's just set up perfectly, isn't it?
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. The first, I'm a bit concerned. I'm at Old Trafford on grand final night and it's not raining, which makes a big change. It's only chucking it down this time of year in this part of the world. But yeah, you're right. We've got the best two teams in the business going head-to-head. The teams that finished first and second battle for that league leaders shield right up until the very final couple of rounds. And Hull KR, as you said, standing on the verge of history, looking for that first ever win. And if they do it, they'll complete the treble as well. Will they do it under Willie Peters? I think they've got a very good chance tonight, and I think we're in for a cracking game, whoever comes out on top.
Might back to you shortly, but Chelsea legends v Liverpool legends at Stamford Bridge. And Ian Abrahams, finally, we have a goal. Was it Jermaine Pennant?
2.5 minutes to go. It's Liverpool who lead, Chelsea 0, Liverpool 1, and thankfully Jermaine Pennant was nowhere to be seen when this goal went in. All the work of Ryan Babel, picked up the ball left-hand side, drifted along the edge of the penalty onto his right foot, and as he was falling, he sent a shot past Carlo Guadagnini into the back of the net. Liverpool have done really well against a stacked Chelsea team. It looks like they're going to win this. A minute to go. Chelsea 0, Liverpool 1.
Cheers, Moose. Let's go back to Old Trafford, Mark Wilson and Paul Cook. Paul, Hull KR 9 years ago lost their Super League spot in agonising fashion. Less than a decade later, they're in the Super League Grand Final. Just talk to us about the journey Hull KR have been on over the last 10 years and what this would mean for the sport. What a big achievement it would be in the world of rugby league if they can go on and win it.
Yeah, it'd be absolutely huge. Excuse me, I was
I was part of the coaching staff at Lee, which sent them down via the middle eight system in 2016. It's a place that I know really well. Obviously, I grew up on the terraces at Hull KR, know the owner really well, spoken to him yesterday. He's as nervous as anything, but it'd be huge for the sport. It'd mean another grand final winner on top of the ones that we already have, a first-time grand final winner. And the turnaround at the club has been, you know, from agony to ecstasy. There's no shortage of hard work and blood and sweat and tears that have gone into it from everybody at the club, and I couldn't be more pleased for them players and them people that are good people that are involved there. They just need to get over the line, Sam. It's as simple as that. And they've been agonisingly short last year, losing 9-2 in this fixture. So they're back here for the second time, and will it be second time lucky?
Mark, the last team to win their first ever Super League Grand Final was St Helens in 1999. So St Helens, Leeds, Wigan, Bradford, the only sides to have won the Super League. For you, as someone that's covered this great sport for many, many years, has that been an issue? And would this be a great thing for the sport if Hull KR can get over the line today?
Yeah, of course it'd be good. I mean, there's frustration from many within the sport that only 4 teams have ever won it, but they are 4 great teams. It's like your big 4 in the Premier League, isn't it? It always seems to be those that are in there competing, and until someone breaks that cycle, it continues and it continues. It hasn't been from lack of contenders. Plenty have been. Seen the Dragons here, Catalans here 2 times in the last 3 seasons. Haven't been able to just quite get over the line. That's what Paul said. Someone just needs to get over the line, however they do it. I think Hull KR have the best chance ever, I think, of the outside of that top 4 to get their hands on the trophy, and I think the condition, I think everything plays into their hands tonight. I think it's there. They've got to go out and win it and get their own little bit of history.
Paul, how do you see the game going this afternoon?
Yeah, I think it'll be as tight as last year. There was only 1 try in it last year, and only 7 points difference between the 2 teams, so I expect it to be ever close as it was last year. I agree with Mark. I think Hull KR have got the best opportunity. You're right, it's not raining. It's a rarity here in October for the grand final, and I would love to see Hull KR do it for the community which I still live in and I'm still a part of. It'd be huge for the city and huge for the east of the city particularly. So yeah, I hope they can get it done, but they're up against one hell of a team in Wigan Warriors, that is for sure.
Guys, thank you so much. By the way, Mark is going to absolutely tip it down now, right on 6 o'clock, because you put the absolute mockers on him, mate.
Well, so be it, mate. It made me feel at home anyway.
Good stuff. Gents, thank you very much. It is the Super League Grand Final. Build up from 5 and we're done. 6 o'clock start. Hull KR versus Wigan with Mark Wilson and Paul Cook live on talkSPORT. So that's Rugby League. To Rugby Union, we got Gallagher Premiership action for you this afternoon. Bath versus Gloucester. It's a 5:30 start on talkSPORT 2. We're going to go to Macca very shortly, but we've got a goal at Gillingham. Gillingham versus Cheltenham. Which way is it gone, Craig Wakeling?
Someone needs to call the police because there's been a robbery. Cheltenham have stolen all 3 points right at the death from a corner with 6 minutes to go, and it's the number 22. Number 24, Sam Sherring, well-worked corner. Isaac Hutchinson has been a bright spark for Cheltenham throughout this game, the one small bright spark for the team, and then shot, it rebounded off the bar, and then Sam Sherring was there to dive header it in beyond the goalkeeper. Like I say, an absolute robbery. With 3 to go now, it's Gillingham 0, Cheltenham 1.
And to Stamford Bridge, Chelsea legends v Liverpool legends. It's all over, Ian Abrahams.
Liverpool won, a goal late on from Ryan Babel from the left-hand side of the penalty area, cutting on his right foot, and a shot beyond the goalkeeper, Carlo Cudicini. Chelsea's Legends team was stacked with players Diego Costa, Florian Malouda, Eden Hazard, Joe Cole, Solomon Kalou. None of them could score a goal here this afternoon, and just it looked like we go the whole afternoon without anybody getting a goal. A late effort from Ryan Babel, worthy of winning any game, to be fair, has won this one. Great afternoon, great spirited game, and yes, a yellow card for Costa as well. Finished Chelsea 0, Liverpool 1.
Well, we knew that was happening, didn't we, Micky Gray? I'm sure Munster is going to be in the tunnel. Interviews. Who is he going to get? He's going to get John Terry. He's going to get Joe Cole. Is he going to get Eden Hazard? I'm sure Ian Abrahams has got that in his locker. Gallagher Premiership, 5:30 today. Bath v Gloucester. Andrew McKenna and Matt Garvey on commentary duty for talkSPORT 2. Earlier this year, Bath ended a 29-year wait for the Premiership title. Bath this season played 2, won 2. Gloucester played 2, lost 2. Macca, good afternoon. Should be a good one this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to this one. It's interesting listening to the Rugby League boys. They're coming to the end of their season, and we're at round 3. We're starting out on the early stages, but Bath are just keeping on rolling from where they were last year, as you say. Champions for the first time in a final, and have started this season play to 1-2. Gloucester, well, they've lost both of theirs, but they've both been pretty narrow margins so far. They've not been blown away. So while Gloucester will be the outsiders of this one, I think it might be closer than a few people are expecting.
Matt, you played for both sides. Of course, Bath winning it earlier this year in June in 2025, ending a long wait for success. Have they got it in them to do it again, to go back-to-back?
Well, I think on paper they definitely have the team to do it. The additions they've added this year, ironically, from a couple of them from Gloucester, will add to that. But I think obviously that the psychological bit of now having the target on your back of winning 3 competitions last year, obviously the Premiership, as you said, in June, it makes it harder. Every team wants to beat Bath now. The target's on them, and they'll prepare harder. And it's going to be a tough one, but if they can do it, what a legacy that will be.
Gents, thank you very much. Andrew McKenna, Matt Garvey on commentary duty for you at 5:30 in the Gallagher Premiership. Bath versus Gloucester on talkSPORT 2. We're going to Wimbledon, to Plough Lane, and a late goal for talkSPORT's Tom Clayton.
87 minutes on the clock. AFC Wimbledon 1, Port Vale 1. A corner comes in at the moment and it's cleared away, and Port Vale really pressing to try and turn this around and win it late. It's a goal that comes down to a brilliant bit of persistence on this left-hand side, as the defender just couldn't handle it, and down went Isaac Ogundere. Sorry, there's confusion here. It's a corner that's just being taken in. It's gone in towards the near post and punched away by the goalkeeper. Nathan Bishop gets that one away. Port Vale keeping the pressure on now. A chance for Wimbledon to go up the other end. Devante Cole is the one who's got the goal at the other end, just to let you know. This game absolutely coming alive at the moment, and Wimbledon trying to break on the counter-attack on the left-hand side, and they've been good value for the lead in this game. It'll be disappointing for them to not come away with all 3 points. They win a corner. Goodness gracious me, it is a fiery end at the Cherry Red Record Stadium with a couple of minutes to go. AFC Wimbledon 1, Port Vale 1.
A late goal for Alan Biggs, Chesterfield-Salford.
Chesterfield 2, Salford 0. The decisive second goal. Ronan Darcy on a substitute has put the Spy-Rights on course for a very hard-earned victory here in a goalmouth scramble after Mark Howard in the Salford goal had blocked one attempt. It broke to Darcy, who made no mistake forcing in from close range, to the delight of the most of the near 8,000 crowd here. Salford have had opportunities to get back into it following the own goal that broke the deadlock for Chesterfield, but I think Darcy has made sure of the result. Just to mark your card though, there are still 6 minutes of normal time remaining here. Obviously that refers back to the refereeing mystery in the first half. It's Chesterfield 2, Salford 0.
We're taking one more very quick break on the Saturday session. When we come back, full times up and down the country in League 1 and League 2.
Someone needs to call the police because there's been a robbery.
Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the beast. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the beast. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the beast. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound.
Saturday session on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard, Micky Gray with you until 5 o'clock. That was Craig Wakeling a couple of minutes ago. He said there was a robbery. Somebody called the police. Has the robbery, Craig, been averted somewhat?
Stolen goods have been reprieved, Sam, because Gillingham have only gone and found themselves an equaliser literally right before the death, and it took the substitute Elliot Nevin to come up goods with a shot down the grasshopper beyond the goalkeeper, Joe Day. And my goodness me, talk about leaving it late. They've saved themselves a point. They didn't take their chances in the first half. They absolutely didn't. They'll be really disappointed with that. But my word, they've gone and rescued it. And I don't think I've ever seen an end of a game quite like it. It's finished Gillingham 1, Cheltenham 1. How, I don't know.
Thank you very much. From full times coming into us, a good win for Barnet. Long trip up to Tranmere. Tranmere 0, Barnet 2 is a full time. What an afternoon for MK Dons away from home, going to Bristol Rovers and winning that by 4 goals to 0. MK Dons starts in the afternoon, 7th in the table. Many people, for a ball was kicked, tipped them to go up. Bristol Rovers 0, MK Dons 4. We'll wait for full times from some of our other games. But Micky, how about this for Jordan Pickford? He's beaten Gordon Banks' record of consecutive England clean sheets. He registered his 8th in a row against Wales. It's been almost a year since he conceded between the sticks for England. Like, when you talk about a player being consistent, being reliable, turning up, delivering, game in, game out, that is Jordan Pickford for Everton as well. But most importantly, England has been phenomenal.
I've had many conversations about Jordan and his record for England. And if you look at it, I've always stuck with it, and I still will. I believe he's the second best goalkeeper to ever play for his country. I really do.
Hard to argue that now, Micky.
Yeah, look, people look at, I don't know, David Seaman, Ray Clements, goalkeepers like that. But when you look at what Jordan's achieved and you think about he's played in quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals of major tournaments, I think sometimes maybe he got criticised about 2 or 3 seasons ago. But my argument was, because Everton weren't doing so well, I said, look, take your Everton hat off and just think about him playing for England. And he never lets you down. His distribution's fantastic. His saves are absolutely incredible. If you put a reel together, they'd be absolutely superb. And, nearly a year without conceding a goal.
Not bad, is it?
He's, over 80 caps now, or is it 80 caps? His record's phenomenal. Sunderland lad as well, so I've got to big him up. But now, Jordan's career has been sensational, certainly for England.
There was a period for Everton where I always just thought he was a bit of a pusher, a bit of a parier, and goodness me, I mean, I get most of my football opinions wrong, but I mean, in particular in the last couple of seasons, as Everton have been fighting relegation, he's just been so reliable for them game in, game out.
Well, the best goalkeeper in the world for me at the moment is Donnarumma, and if you're talking about pushers and punches, if you like, and not coming to command and catch balls, Donnarumma, he never ever does it. And I've watched Jordan. He's a fantastic shot stopper. Yes, there's a couple of occasions, but goalkeepers are going to make mistakes. But I don't know how many he's made over his career, Jordan, but he's one of those goalkeepers that doesn't let it faze him. And I think he the higher the level that he's gone to, it's never quite fazed him. And he never lets you down. He commands his 18-yard area. Whether he's saying something sensible or not, it's irrelevant, because you just want to hear a voice as a defender. And Jordan never stops. And it's testament to him. Longevity, it's been absolutely fantastic. And I hope he continues, because 80, he can easily reach 100 and more caps, without a doubt.
No doubt about that. AFC Wimbledon have won 7 of their opening League One games so far this season, their most victories at this stage of a campaign in the club's history. But Tom Clayton, it wasn't to be this afternoon.
Yeah, full time here, and it's 2 second-half goals that mean Wimbledon and Port Vale cancel each other out for only the second time in these two's history. Antoine Hagfield scored on 72 minutes to give the Dons hopes of a 6th straight win, but Devontae Cole equalised with 5 to go to make sure the points were shared. It was a game that only really got going in the second half, but it's on as even for 2 newly promoted sides in League One. Full time at the Cherry Red Records Stadium, AFC Wimbledon 1, Port Vale 1.
Two late goals in the Gillingham-Cheltenham game for talkSPORT's Craig Wakeling.
Yeah, Cheltenham denied a second league win in a row for the first time this season, but they have done it in a game where they were second best, ripped apart, run ragged by Gillingham, who failed to take every chance but their final one of a multitude of chances. Sam Sherring sending the 148 Cheltenham fans into raptures, a diving header following a rebound from 83 minutes. Gillingham then equalised with pretty much the last kick of the game. It was sub Elliot Nevitt who popped up to level the points. It's finished at Priestfield. Gillingham 1, Cheltenham 1.
Walsall started the day top of the table but couldn't get the victory they wanted at Crawley, Will Hobbs.
No, they couldn't. Crawley Town 1, Walsall 1, but it's the host, the team lying in 21st, who will be wondering how they haven't taken all the spoils. Their top scorer, Harry McCurdy, missed a fifth-minute penalty thanks to a peach of a save from Miles Roberts. But the deadlock was smashed open by a thunderous header from Ryan Loft on the end of McCurdy's mouth-watering cross. Crawley dominated all first half but couldn't manage a second, and they were made to pay. Walsall's right mid, Connor Barrett, centre low, zipping drive, rocketing into the corner. He was the standout for the visitors. Crawley had 8 shots on target to Walsall's 4, and their keeper Roberts made a powerful double save either side of half-time. It means Walsall have missed the chance to go 4 points clear, opening the door to Swindon, who can leapfrog them with the game in hand. Crawley still just have 2 wins in their first 12 games, but manager Scott Lindsay has seen genuine progress today. Crawley 1, Walsall 1.
More full times in League One. This was a 2 o'clock kickoff. Rotherham left the late to win in Northampton by 2-1. AFC Wimbledon 1, Port Vale 1. A comfortable home win for Burton against Bolton, 3-0 up, waiting for full time there. Still Exeter 1, Reading 1, still playing, still waiting for the full time whistle in the Leyton Orient Doncaster game, but Leyton Orient 4-0 up and absolutely cruising. Full time Wigan 0, Wycombe 1. Some full times in League 2. Newport 1, 1-0 Accrington Stanley. Bristol Rovers 0, MK Dons 4. A good away victory for MK Dons. Crewe 0, Bromley 1, awaiting a full-time whistle there. Big win that will be for Bromley. Fleetwood have beaten Harrogate Town by 3-2. Colchester ended up winning at Grimsby by 2-1. Shrewsbury 2, Cambridge 0. Tranmere 0, Barnet 2. And we have full-time at Brisbane Road. Anil Condola, a comfortable home win for Leyton Orient.
Indeed it was, Sam. It's just finished. Leyton Orient 4, Doncaster 0. We had a late finish here as there was 10 minutes added on after substitute Romani Edmonds-Green was stretchered off. But that aside, it was a near perfect performance for Leyton Orient, and it was as smooth sailing as a League One match can be for the home side. Dom Ballard, what an afternoon for this young man. He opened the scoring for Leyton Orient after just a minute on the clock, and I've said it all afternoon, so I'm going to say it again. Aaron Connolly, who was simply the best player on the park, doubled his side's lead just before the half-an-hour mark. Orient, however, refused to rest on their laurels. They came flying out in the second half. Ballard doubled his tally, but this one will be the easiest he scores all season after a comedy of errors from the Doncaster backline allowed him to take the ball and almost